Yo, what's good? What's good with the nation? What's the hold up with the contract with Geno Smith? We're gonna break all that down. How's everybody doing? If there's anybody in here, I cannot see. This is a new feed, new stream. If you can't tell already, and for some reason I don't have a chat, so let me work on that. Um, but yeah, what's good? Never mind, I got a chat. Raider Ryan, what's good? Appreciate you. All right, Shane, my guy. All right, I see y'all. So man, Geno Smith hasn't signed. He been seen in Miami with Shedeur Sanders. You know, Shedeur is starting to maybe one of the biggest trolls in the history of the NFL draft, in my opinion. You know, he's trolled the hell out of the Giants. They kind of fell off, I guess. Maybe they're still in the mix. I don't know. The Cleveland Browns, he's trolled the hell out of. Let me know if y'all can hear me, see me. Everything good? Like I said, it's a new. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Everything's working. Thumbs up. Appreciate it. So, yeah, you know, he's been on a troll mission, and now he's taking pictures in Miami with our new quarterback who is not signed. And, you know, I don't know if these pictures are old, if they're updated. You know, they could be older pictures from a long time ago. Who knows? I guess the dude that posted them posted in Miami. I don't know what the date was, if there is a date. So, all crazy, wild shit. And Geno was due, what, 16.46, something there, close to $17 million guarantee for a bonus. The Raiders are now due to pay that bonus. Is that part of the negotiation? Is that part of the problem why the contract is not signed? Is Shedeur part of the problem why it's not signed? So I should probably put my glasses on so I can read this. Rick, my guy, appreciate you pulling up. There you go, Shane. I need this bigger, bro. Why don't I have a chat? Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, so I have a chat, but I have to put it over my face. That's some bullshit. Hold up, one more time. Get one more hold up. Fuck. So why can't I? That's shitty. I guess we're putting it up here. I'm not gonna be able to see that. Oh shit, or that. It's fucking everything up. I'll figure it out. I don't know. There's gonna have to be some kind of situation where I can see the damn chat as we speak, because I don't even think I can pull people's shit up. I'm gonna have to work on that. That's not gonna be fun for my peeps. All right, can we get up there? Fuck, man. All right, so yeah, so you seen the title, Don't Draft Shedeur. You know, I have a couple reasons, and we'll just get right into it and break it down right off the bat. You know, we traded a 3rd round pick for Geno, and I understand that there's been a lot of quarterbacks, you know, drafted that sat for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I understand, you know, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre. I understand Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith or whatever the hell. I understand that. I get all that. They sat for a year, though. You know, they didn't sit for 2-3 years. Okay, maybe Aaron Rodgers. But they didn't sit for, you know, 3 years as a 6th overall pick with a team that has many, many holes to fill. You know, they were drafted as a luxury pick, as a backup for aging quarterbacks that they knew, you know, were getting to that point where maybe they might not be with the team. Maybe they might not be in the NFL at all, period. So, to me, it just doesn't make sense. We have too many holes, right? We don't know what's good. Our offensive line it's okay, right? It's okay when it comes to passing. We don't have any maulers, that can get to that next level. No bulldozers. We have one that I could think of in Dalton Wagner, but he's going in his third year. Probably not ready to start in the NFL yet. You can still see by his footwork and practice and shit like that. But the man's a bulldozer when it comes to the run game. There's a reason probably he's still on the roster. If they don't end up cutting him, we don't know. He might not make it to camp. However, we don't have, JPJs at center. We don't have any guards, big guards, or, big name guards like everybody wanted. Becton to be, for example, who is now a Charger. We don't have any of those big 320 pound, 330 pounds, 6'5", 6'7" guys at guard, right? They're kind of, at the 300 range. If you put Parham in, he's 285, at best. Maybe he packed on some weight, this offseason, gets up to 300 pounds, gains a little muscle. If that happens, then, shit, put him in, right? Let him start. But we don't have a run game. We don't have an offensive line built for a run game. And we don't have an offensive line built, for a rookie quarterback for one. And if you're going to pay Geno, I don't know what his contract is. Like I said, we owe him $16 million. Are they going to work that out to the back end somehow? Give him a big contract, 3-4 years. If that's the case, if you're paying Geno a big contract for 3 years, drafting a quarterback at 6 just does not make sense to me whatsoever. And we all know Shedeur is not going to be happy sitting on a bench for 3 years. That's just going to be a nightmare. Shedeur Sanders is not going to be happy with his son sitting on a bench for 3 years. That's going to be a nightmare. Then you have the situation, last year. You can go to the Atlanta Falcons, right? Kirk Cousins was that guy. He was killing it. They went and go get Kirk Cousins, right? Coming off injury. So they're like, okay, give him 140 mil or 160 mil, whatever they paid him. They paid Kirk Cousins a lot of money in Atlanta. Then they sneak up in the draft and they draft a quarterback. Well, that quarterback sat most of the year. Now you got a guy on a contract that you're paying all this money to, and I know they just restructured it or whatever they did, but it still turned out to be a problem, right? Now you got a guy that's coming in to take over. Is Michael Penix ready? Obviously, the Falcons think he is. I mean, I thought he played pretty good as a rookie coming in. He got to sit. But are we going to be in that same situation? Do you really want to lose a third-round pick? I mean, third-round pick in the NFL is very, very valuable, right? That's the top 3 rounds. Once in a while, the 5th round is a bunch of guys, that people miss on or don't take. You might get lucky in those 5th rounds, especially in this draft when it comes to D-line or running backs. Or hell, even, receivers. There might be some sleepers in there also. So, Cowtown Luda in the building. So it just doesn't make sense to take a quarterback if you're signing a guy to a big contract like 40-45 mil. Geno Smith was offered 40 to 45 mil on what, 1 or 2 year contract. I don't know what it was. I don't know the exact specifics. I wasn't a fly on the wall. However, he turned it down, right? With no negotiation, right? Just like, no, that's not good enough. And many people are speculating that that's what he wants, that he's got to get paid, $40 to $45 million. I don't believe that's the case. My take on it is Geno Smith seen that Pete Carroll, a guy that, made his career, because Geno Smith was nothing in the NFL at all until he came to Seattle, right? Had his best year, the first year with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll pretty much made him, built a team around him that was, already built around Russell Wilson, so it wasn't much work. Already had a DK Metcalf in the building, already had Lockett, so had guys to throw to, right? It wasn't a hard transition. So Geno Smith and the Pete Carroll relationship is a tight bond, right? These guys still stay in contact all the time. There's no denying that A lot of us thought Russell Wilson was going to come back. I never thought Russell Wilson was going to be a Raider. If anybody, it just made sense for Geno Smith. But I didn't think we were going to trade for him. I'm not going to sit up here and, say I thought I did. I didn't think we would actually trade for Geno Smith. But trading a third round pick, do you really want to trade, a third round pick for a guy, pay him $45 million a season on a on a 3-year, 4-year deal, whatever it is, and then draft a rookie that could possibly, take his job halfway through the season? Then you're stuck on a lot of money wasted for one in a season that we're supposed to win now. Do you really want to waste that 45 million, 40 mil, 35 mil, whatever it's going to be? Like I said, I don't want to speculate. I'll get to the other part in a minute. But do you really want to waste that money, 45 mil, that we could have spent, on a wide receiver? That there were many, many, many wide receivers. Some took less money to stay in Tampa Bay. Some went to Pittsburgh. There was a lot of receivers that, we could have went that route. Or shit, you could have took that 45 and offered a trade for Jamar Chase, who just got the craziest deal on the planet. but shout out to Jamar Chase and Higgins for getting their bag. But to me, that just makes no sense going that route, right? We need offensive line. We need depth on the offensive line. We need guys that can, that can pass block and run block. And we don't have that. We have guys that are better pass blocking, guys that are better run blocking. They've kind of gelled together, late in the season at the end of the year, which was a damn good thing for us. Some people probably weren't happy with it because now we're picking at the 6th spot. What's the word? Who are we taking at 6? We'll get to Genty in a minute. Unleashing Addiction, appreciate you. There's no snowball chance in hell. Sanders comes in and starts over Gina or O'Connell. Exactly. I mean, definitely not right off the bat. But we do know, let me finish. We do know that Geno Smith had 6 touchdowns. Well, some say 6, some say 9. So I don't know what it is. Let me know in the chat. We'll just go with 6. We'll be on the nice side. 6 fumbles, 15 interceptions. If that happens and he comes out turning the ball over like a Gardner Minshew, I mean, do you really let him stay in when you have a guy that you drafted in the first round? If you take a Shedeur Sanders, do you really let that continue to go just because he's making that money? I don't see Pete Carroll being that type of head coach. Like, I see Pete Carroll, even if we paid Geno Smith 40 to 45 million and, whoever we bring in, somebody beats Geno Smith out or, is a better quarterback. The same scenario happened in Seattle, right? With Russell Wilson drafted in the 3rd round. They paid a bunch of money to a guy they went and traded for. That scenario's happened before, right? It's not like a crazy extreme chance like hitting the lottery that it'll happen again. So I just don't see Shedeur being anywhere in the mix. Now, I do see him doing a lot of trolling, and of course he wants to bump his stock up. If you have Cleveland there, that are the Jets at 6, who knows? Maybe they move up, maybe they take him, thinking the Raiders are going to take him. Maybe people try to trade. Maybe it makes the Raiders pick more valuable at 6, and they trade back. Which, I mean, at this point, who knows? If you could trade back and get an Ashton Genty, like my man Cowtown Luda said, I'm not mad at that at all. I wouldn't be mad at taking him at 6. We've had this discussion over and over again, and join me tomorrow as we break down the running backs, the history of the Raiders running backs, all that and more. Tomorrow we will go fully in depth on should we take Ashton Genty, should we not take Ashton Genty at 6. Tomorrow we'll break all that down. But right now I want to stay, they need to lock Aiden O'Connell in for another 3 years at $12 million ASAP. Bro, that ain't shit. I would see him trading Aiden O'Connell before they do that at this point. Like, really. I mean, damn well I'm the biggest Aiden O'Connell fan. I don't want him going anywhere. It's going to be a competition, but not if you're paying a guy $45 million that's mobile and you're not. We already know Cowtown that is, but if it happens, shit, damn well I'm here for it. Been here for it, ain't going nowhere. But when it comes to Shedeur, we need offensive linemen. We need, hold up, let me get to this shit. Do you really take a chance on a quarterback when you just traded a third round pick? Like I said, if we had that quarterback already in place, then I could see taking a Jackson Dart or a Shedeur or moving up. If you thought Cam Ward was your guy, I could see the Raiders doing that. But at this point, when you have a quarterback making $1.2 million, not even that, less, on the roster that's already showed he can win games, quarterback at 6 just doesn't make sense. You got Ashton Jeanty. You got a Travis Hunter if he falls. You got Will Campbell. You got Ahmed Nimbu. I mean, you could take a Josh Simmons, which to me is one of the sleepers, I believe, in this draft. The kid got hurt, and before that, he was the most dominating tackle in college football. Ohio State, the man got injured. Draft stock fell. Pro days coming up. We'll see. But, to me, if you could trade back and even build the trenches, right? Build the trenches. Because I like Ashton Jeanty. I think he's one of a kind. I don't think there's anything like him. I don't think there's anybody, been like him in a long, long time. That's my opinion. We took a chance on Josh Jacobs, right? Josh Jacobs had 1,600-yard season. He's second all-time, I do believe, in the Raiders rushing yards at a little over 5,000. You could take an Ashton Jeanty and with a fifth year, option, that in 5 years could match Josh Jacobs and be our second all-time leading rusher for the Raiders in 5 years. That is very, very possible. Very possible. The man ran for over 2,000 yards in college football in a 13-game period, or 14, whatever they played, because he had a playoff game that didn't go too well against Penn State. We all know what happened. But if the man comes out his rookie year and rushes for 1,500 yards or 2,000 yards, are you really going to sit there and complain as a Raider fan that we took a running back at number 6? Hell no. Y'all going to be buying the jersey. You're going to be like, oh, Ashton Jeanty, I was talking about Ashton Jeanty the whole time. I was that number one dude. Like, I know how it goes. Like, I ain't been in this shit but over a year, but been watching for a while, and I know how people do. So you could have an Ashton Jeanty, or you could trade back and you can get another second round pick, and you can take a Amari and Hampton, or you could take a Travion Henderson, or you could take a Quinshon Judkins, or a Caleb Johnson, or what's the dude out of SMU that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. I don't know about second round, but you could get them, later rounds, right? You could still get running back production in the later rounds. Or at number 6, like I said, you could take Calvin Banks, Josh Clooney at tackle. You could go crazy and get a Gray Zabel, if you trade back in the later rounds. You can get a Tyler Booker, Josh Simmons again. I think he's more of a tackle. However, you can go edge rusher, right? You can go edge rusher. Abdullah Carter will be gone. You can take Jalen Walker. You can take Malik Williams. You can take Mike Green. You can take Shamar Stewart. I mean, bro, it goes on and on. You can get a Walter Nolan, a Mason Graham. These are key pieces to building an NFL franchise. And these are guys that are going to come in and contribute in year one. And like I said, I'm going to keep going back to the fact that we traded a third round pick, and we're going to pay, for a quarterback that we're going to pay the highest paid on the team. Probably he's going to be the highest paid dude on the team, which most quarterbacks are. That's not wrong. But is it worth $45 million? That's the bigger question. You trade back, you get a Omar Norman Lott, who's just an absolute freak, and would, could be that Warren Sapp type dude for a long, long time. Kenneth Grant, which I have on a couple of my mock drafts. Or you go corner. Travis Hunter not going to be there. Possibly he could be there at 6. Who knows how this draft's going to be? It could go 1, 2, 3 quarterback. It could go crazy shit, right? There could be a linebacker taken at number 2, or, a running back taken at number 2. Who knows? Ashton Jeanty could be the number one pick off the board. We don't know. We're just speculating, thinking it's going to be Travis Hunter or, you know, a guy that could have possible the same injury, Abdul Carter, as Tyree Wilson, which we won't go into that today. You know, you got Jahad Barron, you got Will Johnson, you got Shavion Revel, you got Benjamin, Benjamin Morrison, right? Safety wise, you know, you could take my guy, which I would take, I mean, me at 6. And I know people are going to say you're crazy, but dude, Nick Emanwari. I mean, come on. The man is a monster, especially if you trade the 6th pick and trade back to, say, 11, 12, 15, 18. You know, who knows who wants that 6th pick? There's going to be a lot of people trying to get that pick. So if you trade back and get that, you know, trade back and you grab a Nick Emanwari and you pick up another 3rd round pick or a 3rd and a 4th or a 2nd and a 4th or whatever, and you take that and move back up into the 1st round and, you know, grab a guy like James Pierce, who could possibly, you know, fall into the 20s or maybe even out of the 1st round, which could go in the 1st round, could go top 5. To me, if he's going to play linebacker or, you know, edge, both, to me, that's valuable as hell. But I really like Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. You can go Jalen Walker out of Georgia. The Raiders really like Georgia guys. So, again, there's all the pretty much top 5 at every position on where you could go. So why take a quarterback when you already have 2 in the building? You're not going to keep 4. If you do, one's going to be on the practice squad and one's going to be the emergency quarterback. You're going to have 2 quarterbacks. It doesn't make sense to have, not to mention the fact that what's a rookie make, right? What's a rookie make now? 8 million, somewhere in there? 7-8 million if you're drafted 6th overall. So you're going to pay a quarterback 40 to 45 mil plus another 8 mil for a guy to sit on the bench for 2 years, a year minimum, 2-3 years max. That's wild to me. When you have, you know, a crazy amount of quarterbacks coming out next year. LSU kid, Brossenmeyer, however you say that shit. You know, my Arkansas boy, Taylor Green at 6'6", runs a 4.40. Just crazy, nasty, and is going to get better under Bobby Petrino. I guarantee you, watch out for that kid to have a monster year. Taylor Green is, if he gets the interceptions down and gains a little bit more confidence in his throwing, kids could be a 1st round pick. You know, definitely 2nd or 3rd with his speed, his size. So there's options for quarterback next year. You could also wait to the later rounds. And a guy that I talked about early, you know, in the draft before the combine was a Jalen Milroe. You know, if you could get Jalen Milroe in a 3rd round, why take a Shedeur Sanders in the 6th, right? If you're going to let him sit for 2 or 3 years, to me, Jalen Milroe sitting for 2 years would be unstoppable in the NFL if he develops like he's supposed to develop, right? That he's got one of the strongest arms. Dude, they had to take his pro day outside because the man kept hitting the roof throwing the damn football. That's freakish. That's freakish right there. If you can control that, get him to have a little bit of touch on his ball, not touching his balls, touch on his ball, football, you know, more accuracy with the deep pass, which is not bad. Accuracy better, you know, throwing over the middle with his size, his speed, his athleticism. Jalen Milroe would be a freak, right? Jalen Hurts 5.0. Like, we ain't even go 2.0. It's like 5.0. So if you could get that dude in a 3rd and develop him, I don't see any reason to take a Shedeur Sanders at a 6, you know, at 6th, or even if you take a Will Howard and he sits for 2 years, or, you know, my guy Riley Leonard, you know, let him sit for 2 years. That with his speed and his size would be crazy. I think for 2 years, if you let any of those guys I just mentioned, or a Shedeur or even a Jackson Dart, sit for 2 years, the development is going to be pretty damn close, in my opinion, you know, or even guys like Kyle Kyle McCord, right? Went to Syracuse, left Ohio, had a huge year. So I just don't see why you would draft a quarterback at number 6 now that you have your quarterback. And it might not be the quarterback of the long term future, but it's definitely the quarterback of the short term future. And if it's not, you still got a guy, behind him if something happens and it doesn't work out, or, injuries, or who knows what the hell, comes out throwing 15 interceptions with no touchdowns. Could happen. Definitely could happen. We are in a crazy division that's just getting stronger and stronger. That we have to play 3 teams twice a year that have top 10 defenses. I think all 3 of them have top 10 defenses. So quarterback at 6, please stop the nonsense is all I'm saying, bro. Stop the nonsense. The shit just makes no sense to take Shedeur, no matter how good he is. Now, if you're signing Geno, this is the only way, to me, it makes sense. If you're signing Geno, to a 1-year deal, right? He's guaranteed that 16 mil. You give him another, 20 mil, make it 36 for 1 year, which would be stupid to trade a 3rd round pick to have a guy be a bridge for 1 year. That's a waste of a 3rd round pick, in my opinion. We could have got, 15 different quarterbacks in free agency, or traded for guys that you probably could have got for a 6th round pick, a 3rd round pick. Shit. You could have got a guy that we wouldn't even have to draft a quarterback. You could have went and got a Joe Milton and just developed him for the next 2 years. I mean, for a 3rd round pick. So it just makes no sense to me to take a guy like Shedeur at 6. Now, Genty, on the other hand, I don't like this setup. I can't see this damn chat unless I hold this shit in front of me. I like how you have the screen on the chat. Yeah, but I can't see it. I need to make it different colors. I'll work on that. We'll get to it. Like I said, I've been working on shit. Genty been dope. He would have even better stats if they didn't force him to share carries with Halani last year. I get it. And the year before, he caught a lot more passes out of the backfield. So the dude can catch. He's dynamic as hell. Chef was in the building. Milo Hunt, appreciate you pulling up. Sorry I didn't get to y'all. Like I said, new system. Can't really see the chat. I'm gonna have to get a big screen or some shit and make this setup better. But it won't be for a while, because Thursday I'm leaving to go to Vegas and then to Havasu, Lake Havasu, Arizona, for a funeral. And then shit, I don't know how long I'm gonna be there, but it's been a while since I seen my mom, my sis, and might take a little vacay. But I would definitely be on, not as much, probably not every 5 nights a week, but I'll definitely be on, keeping y'all up to date for sure. Dylan Gabriel, 5th round pick, $5 bet with a possible 50 million prize. I don't think they're taking a chance on Dylan. I mean, they could. I could definitely see a Pete Carroll, kind of liking Dylan Gabriel. However, the combine, there's so many things with him. The size, I don't know, the athleticism there, the ball speed's there, but on shorter routes, when you get throwing the ball 40, 50 yards down the field, or if you have a speedster and you got to throw it 60 yards, to me it just drops off. And I don't know. I wouldn't take a chance on that. But there's been shit. There's been crazier shit happen. Lawrence, my guy, Arnie Garza, appreciate you pulling up. So how do y'all feel? Let me know. What are y'all thoughts? Is taking a quarterback at number 6 a bad idea? Now that we have Geno, whether you sign him to a long-term deal, how much you pay him, is it a bad idea? Y for yes, N for to the no. I want to know your thoughts. How you feel? Rebel, finally seen a mock draft Riley Leonard going to us in the 3rd round. I mean, I could see that. I could see that a lot. I could totally see that. It makes all the sense in the world with the Geno Smith. I just talked about it a second ago. You know, if you take a guy like Riley Leonard or a Joe Milton in the third round, that makes a lot more sense. It to me, it's still. I'd rather do it in the fourth, or if a guy you think's gonna fall to the sixth, where we have three picks, that would be great. I think there's quarterback this year. It's just it's not a necessity no more, right? It's a luxury pick. The necessity is running back. It's definitely running back, and we'll get to the debate tomorrow. Again, tomorrow we'll talk about running backs in the debate because I have a lot of talk to talk about. If I can spit the shit out. Um, but on the quarterback, again, if you could get and and I believe again, this is just my take. What does Sam Darnold get? 31, 37, 37 mil, something, 31. I thought it was 31. Somebody said 37. I don't know what it is. Type it in the chat if you know what Sam Darnold got. But you have to look at that and say, Sam Darnold is what 27 years old. He's on the upside, right? He had his best year ever in the NFL. Can he continue that, trajectory up the ladder with the team he's going to? I don't see why he can't, right? I think Seattle's going to build around him. They're not a bad team. They have an okay defense. Are they going to be a playoff team right away? I don't know. But Sam Darnold does have more upside, than a Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith is 34 years old. He had his best year ever. It's been down, down the other 2 years, especially when Pete Carroll wasn't there. This year the most turnovers. If you say nine fumbles, then it's fucking 24 turnovers this year. Like, you can't win games. We don't have a team to win games. Let's take it less. Let's say it was 6 fumbles. That's still 6 fumbles, 15 interceptions. That's 21 turnovers to his 21 touchdowns. It doesn't add up. You can't win games like that. Our defense is not made right now. Losing the pieces we lost, 5 starters. Now I know we got some pieces that can replace them. I'm not, mad whatsoever with the guys we got. I feel, they can be replaced. We still have a little bit of money. We still have June 1st cuts, which there's going to be a lot of, post June 1st cuts, I'm sure. There always are, and there's going to be some surprises. And maybe the Raiders are banking on that and banking on the draft. Maybe they have a plan with these nine picks we have. Not maybe. I know they have a plan. But if it all goes well or goes according to plan, or maybe they, like I said, plan on moving back and making it 12 picks instead of 9. However they decide to do it, running back is our biggest necessity right now. And O-line. We have to build in the trenches. We're pretty solid on the defensive line. I mean, if everybody stays healthy, that's a nasty defensive line, right? You have Max, you have Christian Wilkins, who I think is going to be on a mission with a chip on his shoulder, and Max, both missed most of the season last year. You brought back Malcolm Kuntz, which I thought was huge. He makes Max better. He makes, Christian Wilkins better, and they both make him better. And then you have a guy like Jonah Lalu, who I thought had his best, definitely had the best days as a Raider. Young guy, has that speed, has that size, get to the quarterback, has a quick, first step. Then we resign Adam Butler. We have a nasty defensive line, right? And I don't think we're done. I think we're going to add pieces in the draft. I'm pretty positive, especially, if it's not early in the 6th round. I definitely see us adding 1, maybe 2, defensive line in the 6th round. There's a lot of defensive linemen in this draft. Or we go defensive line and edge, however we do it. But to me, running back is the number one necessity, and we need receivers. Do we take a chance on Stephon Diggs? We've seen him out there throwing the ball with Geno Smith. If we're gonna put a whole bunch of light on the fact that Shedeur Sanders took a picture, you know, with Geno Smith, then you have to add some light to the fact that he's actually out there working out with Stephon Diggs, right? Coming off an injury. I don't even know how long ago it was, but Achilles, right, which is a bad injury. The dude's already out there running routes, throwing with Geno. Can we read into that? To me, that would be more reading into than a picture with Shedeur. I don't know. How do y'all feel? But to me, that's how I feel about it. Like, and I know Stephon Diggs is a lot of money coming off an injury. I'm not saying I do or do not want him. If the Raiders decide, that's on them. I really don't, have a say either way. I think he can help this team if he's healthy, at the right price. I think he can hurt this team if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, either way, it just depends on what Stephon Diggs you get. So we have just a lot of decisions, right? A lot of decisions. We brought in some guys that are fillers. Can they take the starting role? Eric Stokes. Can you take that starting role? Is Jack Jones still on the team come camp? Is he still on the team, start of the season? There's a lot of questions that we have, and still, like I said, a lot of holes. Linebacker, I mean, yes, we brought in Eldon Smith, but at 30 years old, is he going to really be that guy that plays 98% of the snaps or, even 90% of the snaps? I don't think so. I don't feel at all that he's that type of guy. Now, prove me wrong, right? Prove me wrong if you are that type of guy. Shit, I'm all here for it. Okay, I'm not all there for it because we don't want him on the field 90% of the snaps, right? We're going to have the same problem we have with Robert Spillane. So I digress. I eat my words. I take that shit back. We don't want Eldon Smith on the field 90% of the snaps. We want him on the field, third downs, goal line, run situations. That's when you want that man on the field. That's where he's at his best. When it comes to pass coverage, I mean, it's what, a couple percentages higher than what we lost in a guy that everybody loved in Robert Spillane. To me, he's not going to be on the field. Now, is he going to get that captain on his chest? Possibility, right? He's the oldest linebacker, probably the oldest guy on the defense. So, I mean, might have a C on his chest. To me, he seems, like he's going to take that leader role and definitely deserves it. But I just don't see that dude being a 90% of the snaps or even 80% of the snaps. I think would be absolutely wild to me, especially when you got Chin that you brought in. Jeremy Chin is going to play a lot in the box at that linebacker position. I get it, not middle, not Mike linebacker, but what we got in the chat? Right? Might be Lockett at wide receiver. I think if the Raiders were going to go get a wide receiver, they would have already made that move. I don't see us taking a veteran wide receiver, in free agency. I think we pretty much got what we're getting in free agency. Like I said, unless something, comes available, guys are getting cut, every day people are getting released. So if something crazy happens, they'll go get him. But if they were going to go get their guy, and I think that, Geno Smith kind of has the ball in his court, right? The Raiders really can't do shit until we know what's going on with Geno Smith. Like, if we're signing him to a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year deal, is it going to be $45 million a season? Is it going to be, 20 M's, 30 M's? What's he going to get a year? That's the big question. So until we know what Geno's getting, we really don't know what our contract is. Right now we have on the books for 31, if I'm not mistaken. That could go up. That could go up 10 mil. That could go up 15 mil. Like, that drops our cap to nothing. So I think that's the holdup with these negotiations is, I started to wander off what I was saying earlier, but Aaron, Sam Darnold getting the money that he got, Justin Fields getting the money that he got. Um, you got a guy like Kirk Cousins, I believe now taking less money, so his shit dropped. What's Aaron Rodgers going to want? The talk's been 31, 33, I've heard. If you pay Aaron Rodgers a four-time Pro Bowl, four-time MVP, right? I don't know how many times he's been to the Pro Bowl, but every accolade you could possibly think of as a quarterback, right? Been there, done that for Aaron Rodgers at 31 mil. Can you really justify at all? I mean, is there any justification in paying Geno Smith $45 million for 15 turnovers and 6 fumbles? No, I get it. He was on a bad offensive line. I get that. But you're a mobile quarterback. That's your job, is to make plays with your legs. And, that's why they didn't invest too much in that offensive line, because they believed in him to do that. I'm sure a lot of his bonuses, he didn't get, meet all the bonuses he was supposed to get in his contract this year, or it would have been even higher than the 16 mil we're having to pay right now. K33, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you pulling up to the live. Good to see you. Good to see you. Diggs should have stayed with the Bills. Yeah, he probably should have. I mean, it didn't work out for him going to Houston. Didn't get to play the full year. They could have used that linebacker, but they didn't want to pay him the money he wanted, and it might have hurt him this year. They had to go get Amari Cooper. Shout out to Amari Cooper. Please do not come back to the Raiders. Amari Cooper had a worse year this year than he did in Cleveland. So, So, I don't know with the Bills. I think Stephon Diggs probably would have been better off. Would the Bills been better off with Stephon Diggs? I don't believe so. I don't think so. Are y'all supposed to be getting Sanders? That's, everybody has us mocked with Ashton Genty or Shedeur Sanders. Tom Brady mentored Shedeur Sanders, worked out with him, whatever. They talk on the phone daily. There's a big connection there. The Raiders are huge on, if you look at all the signings we've brought in, the Raiders are really big on, bringing in guys that have a connection with the coaching staff or with other players or with owners or whatever it is, or not, minority owners. So everybody that we've brought in seems to have some kind of connection in the past with some kind of coach in the building. Most of them, the head coach or, the offensive coordinator. So there is a huge connection there. And, pretty much everybody on the planet, Shedeur Sanders comp is Geno Smith. So the Raiders have Geno Smith. I mean, it kind of makes sense to bring in a guy, but not if you're paying Geno Smith $45 million. It kind of limits all that. So yeah, that's the talk. Big talk. Rebel, who is your best free agent signing? Who is the worst free agent signing? I mean, it's Malcolm Kuntz for me. You get Malcolm Kuntz at $12 million. It's not even a competition. There's no talk. It is what it is. I know he's coming off an injury. I know he only had 8 sacks in half a season, under Antonio Pierce. I get all that. But just watch the kid, the man on tape. His film is ridiculous. So Malcolm Kuntz is a big part of this defense and was a big part of why we were so bad last year, in my opinion. So I believe that's the biggest signing. Now, you could say Geno Smith, which most of y'all are going to say Geno Smith, but you'll know how I feel about Aiden O'Connell. So to me, it's just another year wasted on a kid that, a lot of people want to see what he has. So it doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But some people will say Geno Smith. You know, we have our quarterback. The nation has their guy that's mobile. You know, mobile. He's gonna throw away more interceptions, fumble a lot, and hopefully all that will get cleaned up, and he'll be have the year he had the first year with Seattle. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm sure that's what everybody else is hoping for. So yeah, that's my biggest signing. But I really like a lot of the guys. You know, I believe Jeremy Chin. Look, since I have this right, you know, there's been talk about Jeremy Chin and Moreg, right? All this talk. Is Moreg better? Is Jeremy Chin better? Was Mora, Trayvon a huge loss? Dude, I was a big Trayvon Moreg fan. I'm a big fan of everybody that plays for the Raiders as long as you produce, right? You don't have to be a big name or a fan favorite. You know, I liked Kaylavon Chasen. I really like Jonah Lalu. You know, I like Aiden O'Connell. I like guys on this team that help the team, that give this team the best chance to win at the cheapest price, right? That's the biggest part of football is you can't overpay guys and then them not produce because it just sets your franchise back and back and back. And we've been doing that shit for too many years. So Moreg, Trayvon Moreg, Jeremy Chin. When it comes to coverage grade, right? When it comes to coverage grade, Trayvon Moreg was a 54.4 last year. Jeremy Chin, 66.2. When it comes to run stops, or stops in the backfield, whether it be the quarterback, whether it be the running back, whatever. When it comes to stops, 35 for Jeremy Chin, 29 for Trayvon Moreg. When it comes to total tackles last year, 117 for Jeremy Chin, 104 for Trayvon Moreg. When it comes to money, 3 years, almost $60 million, somewhere around 17 M's a year for Moreg, 8 M's a year. Damn it, I just dropped my pen. 8 M's a year for Jeremy Chin. So there should be no question at all whether Trayvon Moreg, was a loss for this organization. Yeah, he's homegrown talent. You got to keep homegrown talent and develop them. And we have a problem of letting guys go before we develop them. Somebody else develops them. They become decent players or even, big name players. We also have a problem of developing guys and then not wanting to pay them when they become the guy that we want them to be. Whether we can't afford it, whether we think, the market's too high for them, people want to overpay for them and we can't afford it, whatever it is. So Trayvon Moreg definitely was a loss as a Raider fan. But stat-wise, football field, when it comes to playing games, Chin is a pickup, right? It's a pickup. He's better in coverage. He's better in stops. He's better in total tackles. And that's not even to mention out of those 117, he had 80 solo tackles. I don't know what Trayvon's was, but I think a lot more of his were assisted. I think it was like somewhere in the 70s. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 90s. Don't quote me on that shit. But so I like the guys we brought in, right? I like the direction we're going. We're bringing in guys that are big hitters, that ain't afraid to, throw a shoulder in there, throw an elbow in there, throw whatever it takes, to try to jar the ball free. You got guys that will punch and swat at the ball. We didn't have that. I seen a lot of guys shying away from contact last year. Now, whether it's because they were on that contract year and they knew they were about to get paid and that payday was going to be less, if they got injured, that's, making business decisions, as Antonio Pierce would say. So to me, I like Chin. I like it. I think it's an improvement, all around, especially when it comes to money, right? It saves us money that we can bring in other guys. Lonnie Johnson, another guy, same thing. So again, I like the way we're going. What else we got? This sucks not being able to read this chat. everybody nasty drunk yet? Happy St. Patty's Day. I was thinking about going and having a beer, but man, since I am Irish, do have the red luck of the Irish, drinking one green beer. I think it's bad luck if you don't, right? But I got no way to, so I'm not going to. Oh shit. Hold up. Wait. It's about to get loud, hopefully. Not too loud. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, whether you're Irish or not, whether you're drinking or not. If you're drinking, have one for me. Ashton Genty would be fire on the Raiders. I believe 100% Ashton Genty would be fire on the Raiders. I think it's the best option, and we're going to break it all down tomorrow. We're going to talk about all the running backs, the guy we brought in and Mostert from Miami. I'm going to break all that shit down tomorrow, same time. Fucking dog. And I would take him at 6. People are going to flip out, but tomorrow we will go over all the first round draft picks for the Raiders at running back, where they stand yards wise in the history of the Raiders, because I was very surprised, very, very, very surprised. Being a Raider fan for, my whole life. I'm 50, but really, 45 years that I can remember and recall most of. So say 45 years, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. I was very, very surprised to see that the Raiders, when it comes to the running game, man, it's nasty, bro. It's nasty. Like, our leading rusher, of course, is Marcus Allen with 10,000 yards. The closest is Josh Jacobs with 5. I think there's 2 guys in between, back in the 70s or 60s or some shit. I don't know, maybe. But we'll break all that down tomorrow. But, I was surprised. So, for people to say taking a running back at 6 is a bad idea, like, hopefully tomorrow changes your mind, because it's not in the situation we're in, right? That's our biggest need. If you can't run the ball in the NFL, you're not going to win games. If you can't run the ball in the NFL, you're not going to make it to the playoffs. If you get to the playoffs in the NFL and you can't run the ball, you're not going to advance to the next round. So a running game is whatever people want to say. It's a dime a dozen. You can have 50 running backs, running back by committee. I get all that shit. It's happened, right? It can happen in the right system, the right team with the right running backs. I mean, look at the Detroit Lions, right? They have running back by committee. Both of those dudes kill it, every year that they've been together. It could work. We've had Thunder and Lightning with, I don't even want to say the team's names, but you know how it goes. I mean, the Steelers have done it. There's been many teams that have running back by committee, and their main running back still has over 1,000 yards. It can be done. But you have to have a dominant running back. And if you take a running back like a Ashton Genty, who dominated in college, you don't think that man's going to come up and do the same thing in the NFL? I mean, he's a bowling ball. He's got low center of gravity. He's got, great contact balance, got great balance, period. Remember them punching bags? I don't know how old you are, but back in the day, you'd be like, and they just come back to you to have some sand on the bottom and shit. That's what he reminds me of, bro. Like, you can't tackle Ashton Genty. So if you're trying to build a team for win now, you go get the best running back in the draft, right? How many teams have got the best running back in the draft? Every team that's in the playoffs this year. Every team that was in the playoffs has drafted a running back in the first round. Go look it up. Like, every single one of them. So you can't say you don't draft a running back at 6. That's crazy talk. That's just people. I mean, I don't know what the knack is or what the problem is with taking a running back at 6. But again, we're supposed to be talking about running back tomorrow. Shout out to these nuts for becoming a member. Appreciate you. I didn't get nothing popped up or nothing. Wait, what the flip is going on? Did y'all see some shit? There was no chat bot, no nothing. This is really pissing me off, bro. What's good? What's good? These nuts is loving today. Shout out to you, my brother. Glad you're having a blast. Drink it up. Drink it up. Wait, what? Um, Rebel. What prospect in the NFL draft impresses you the most, regardless of position? That, I mean, I'm gonna have to say, Eman Worry, bro. I like Eman Worry. I've never seen a man that big move like that, or have the athleticism like that, or the man is scary. And if he doesn't work at safety, you could probably put him at corner. You could probably put him at linebacker. Shit, you could put him at defensive end if you wanted to. I mean, you could probably make the dude a defensive end. So you have to pack on another 20 pounds or more. But I mean, to me, Eman Worry is just special. Like everything about that kid, I watch on tape, his film, just even his interviews. You know, the way he carries himself, the way he talks. Um, Ashton Genty too. Like I know there's a lot of running backs. I've named them all. I'm a huge Quinshawn Judkin fans. To me, I think he's just fits the Raider mentality. You know, that's the closest comparison I could find to, to that Marshawn type of dude that loves contact, that can, plow guys over, kind of like an Ashton Genty. So I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of these guys. There's a lot. There's a lot. I was very impressed with fucking bitch. Got your ass. I wasn't very impressed with Gray Zabel, for his size, his athleticism, the way he just dominated everybody in practice at the Shrine Bowl. The man was just throwing bodies around like they were feathers, like it was a pillow fight. And, Mike Green and other guys, I don't want to name the dudes because I don't know the exact names, but it was pretty much all the dudes that were there. And there were some big name guys, right, that whether he was at guard, which they had him most of the time because they didn't put him at tackle. They have him listed as a guard, which I mean, I don't. Maybe he needs to put on more weight as a tackle. I don't know, but I think Gray Zabel is damn very damn impressive. When I mean, all around, you can put him at center. You can put him at both guard spots, both either tackle spot. Um, Colton Miller, 2 years left on his contract, I believe. Having injury problems last year. Do you get a Gray Zabel and groom that guy for the future for the next 2 years when Colton comes in? Put him at guard, left guard. Let him get acclimated there, and then when it's time, move him over to center. I mean, to me, that's a nasty offensive line. If you got Colton Miller, Gray Zabel, JPJ, whether it be Meredith or Munford or DJ Glaze, whoever they decide to put there, and then whoever they decide to put, whether it be Glaze or Munford over there at right tackle, or maybe they draft a right tackle. I mean, the offensive line would be nasty, but we need some physicality on the line. You can't draft a Ashton Genty if you're not going to build a line around him. And I know he can create a lot of holes for himself, and he has damn good vision, but you still have to have a physical offensive line in the NFL to move guys out of the way, right? They're going to run stunt packages, they're going to blitz, they're going to do everything they can to try to stop the run. What kind of dog do you have? How many dogs? Wait, what? How many dogs are there in the NFL draft? Dogs elite players? Bro, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know about elite. Elite wise, it it just depends. It just depends. I mean, there's some special dudes. The more I watch them, Marion Hampton. Damn, this fucking head is tight. The more I watch a Marion Hampton, dude, he, there's some special kids. There's some dudes that are being overlooked because of the hype on certain players like Shedeur, like a Cam Ward, um, even like Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Genty. I don't know. I don't know if all these people are doing their homework, but there's some special kids. There's some kids that also could develop into those elite guys within a year or two. So I don't know. I don't know if I can put a number on how many elite, like, can't miss guys. There's not many. I think I don't care what people say about the arm length for Ashton Genty. I believe that's a can't miss running back. Whether you take him in the first, you know, anywhere, it doesn't matter. I believe that's a can't miss dude. The rest of the running backs, could possibly be that. But if they were that, they would have showed it in college, right? They would have had 1,700 yards, after yak yards and shit like that, over 2,200 yards. There's not a lot of people in the history of college football that run for that amount of yards. And if you go look at the guys that have in the NFL, most of them did very well. Some of them got injured and, of course, didn't make it as well. If you're injured, a lot of guys, but most of them do well. If you're drafted in the first round, there's not a lot of bust when it comes to running back. The percentage is nowhere near the amount, of quarterbacks or wide receivers. That shit is crazy to me. So you got to put Ashton Genty in there. To me, the fact that Travis Hunter, could be the number one corner or the number one wide receiver in this draft, depending on how you look at it or who you ask, you have to put what he does, in an elite category. That's just my opinion. But and then, I mean, other than that, I don't know. I don't really know. I think there's some very special linebackers. There's some very, very special guys that they have listed as an edge that I think with their speed and size could be crazy at linebacker position that we definitely need with the loss of Robert Spillane. Even with the loss of Divine Diablo, I think we have five linebackers on the roster. Last year we had 7 or 8 or 9 or some shit going into camp, some crazy amount. So linebacker, running back, to me, that's our biggest need. And you can question it, but I think we can get away with not having a big time number one receiver. I think with Geno's arm, with his arm strength and his deep ball accuracy, I think Trey Tucker could have a damn good year, and we thought that last year. We just didn't have anybody that could throw the ball to him when he did break away in coverage, or anybody that believed in him to take that chance to throw the ball to him, which was most of the problem. But you still have that dude, damn good speed. We have a lot of receivers on the roster. I think there's like 8 right now, 8 or 9. I don't know which guys make it, or how are they gonna bring in 12 into camp. Like, that just you got to look at the numbers of what we have, and right now we have like 9 defensive ends, 5 defensive linemen, so the positions that we only have 4 or 5 guys at, like running back, like linebacker, we have nobody behind Jack Jones, nobody listed behind Jack Jones at all whatsoever. So those are needs, right? That, to me, that's a need. That's the biggest need. So there could be, a linebacker you look at as an elite guy, which I definitely think 100%. I mean, there's like, what, depends on where you put them. But there's a couple of linebackers in here that, if you look at their college numbers, I mean, Jahad Campbell is scary, bro. He's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a huge problem. right away, right? That's a dude that's gonna come in. You're gonna plug him in, be like, here's the playbook. This is what you gotta do. He's gonna run with that shit, and he's gonna be a starter, in my opinion, right away. James Pierce Jr., is another guy that the Raiders have said they don't care if they have, 4 or 5 guys at a position. If they see a guy that could be an elite guy, or they believe, has that potential, they're not afraid to draft him. And I believe James Pierce Jr. at a Tennessee is another one of those dudes that, I mean, God, what doesn't he have, right? What can't the dude do? He's fast. He has the size. You can put him at end. You can put him at outside linebacker. I mean, there's a possibility you could even make him a Mike eventually. I mean, I don't know how smart and shit he is, what he is, but bro, I think you can put that dude anywhere. So there are guys. There's a lot of special guys. Elite talent. It's hard to say if guys are, elite. But I know there's probably a good 10 in this draft that have a very, very, very high, ceiling to be elite guys in this league. Whether it's offensive tackle, whether it's receiver, whether it's running back, linebacker, corner. I don't know about corner. Yeah, I guess depending on where you put Travis Hunter. So I don't know, man. You asked the hardest questions, Arnie. But there's a bunch of dogs out there, bro. I'd take him at 6 as well, because I don't think he'll be there late. No, he's definitely not gonna be there. And like I said, if 6 is a problem, I'm sure there's a bunch of teams that would love to move up to the number 6 spot. But you have to guarantee they're not moving up to take Ashton Genty, right? Because then you just move back for nothing unless you have a backup plan. But there's plenty of backup plans, like I said, like a Jahad Campbell. I would take that dude in the first round any day of the week. Like Eman Wari, I would take in the first round any day of the week. I just think it's gonna be that dude. So yeah, you're pretty much in a position where if you're going position, best player available, you have to go best player available at position of need, and that's Ashton Genty. There's just no doubt about it. Like you can't question it. No matter how hard you try, you can't make up any excuse or any reason why he is not the best running back in this draft. Even at 6 or shit. Like I said, at 1. I mean, the dude's got a chance to be that LaDainian Tomlinson special, right? Barry Sanders special. And no, I'm not comping him, so don't get panties in a bunch. Nobody said he is that dude or he's going to be that dude. I'm saying his own, right? Ashton Genty, but to be that legacy type of dude, right? Where when you think of running backs 20 years, after they're gone, you think of Walter Payton, right? You think of Barry Sanders. You think of Emmitt Smith. Those are dudes you think of. Ashton Genty has the potential, no doubt about it, to be that dude if he stays healthy. Now, that's the biggest thing in the NFL. But come on, man. You see the size of his legs? His legs are tree trunks, bro. They're absolute tree trunks. Like, each one of them could be its own tree in itself. Now, a small tree because he's only like 5'9". But still, it's a tree, bro. That's a tree trunk. Like, his hips. If you listen to Phil Simms and a lot of people that do breakdowns and analysis on football players, even Antonio Pierce, everybody I hear talk about football players, the biggest thing they say is their ass and their waist, right? That's the main thing, right? For pretty much everybody, running backs, maybe not corners and wide receivers. But still, most of those dudes, same thing, right? The bigger they are around the waist, the wider they are, the stronger, the more stability, the more stable they are, the more balanced, the harder they are to move around. Ashton Genty has that, dude. He's wider, like probably 10 inches wider than anybody in this draft, dude. So, I mean, there's no way. I don't see how anybody can make a case that not to take this kid. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Or you can have the nastiest running back in the league and throw interceptions at the goal line to lose the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, damn good point, right? You could do that too, and that probably wasn't the most brilliant, the brilliant, most brilliant of moves in Pete Carroll's career. And I'm sure that's a legacy that's gonna haunt him for the rest of his life. Is you have Marshawn Lynch, you're at the goal line, you're about to beat a team that is historic, right? A quarterback that's historic, and you pass the damn ball, and you pass the damn ball. Yeah, yeah, that's bad. I mean, that's bad shit. When they say win now, whoever we get at 6, or if we trade back in our first round pick, has to be a day one starter. What's good, New England? What's good? Appreciate you. I mean, 100%, bro. You have to start day one. You can't draft a guy at 6 and then tell me you're going to sit him on the bench for a year or 2 years or possibly 3 years. Hell no. Hell no. The fuck out of here with that. Go somewhere. No, you can't do that, right? So it never made sense. It never made sense. Again, no knock against Shedeur. Now, if they, like I said, if they find a way where Gino says, "Look, I'll play here for 1 year," or I'll sign a 2-year contract, and that's it, because he sees the writing on the wall, and they feel that Shedeur is their guy, then if they take him, bro, I'm not gonna be mad. I just don't think it's the best scenario, and I don't see Gino doing that. But I see Geno Smith. You have to be looking back and saying, "All right, the Falcons I just seen the same scenario with the Falcons, right? They paid all this money to a dude, long term, 3-year deal, right? Bunch of money, and then they decide, oh shit, let's go get this quarterback." Geno's not, you'd be dumb to sign that contract, right? You'd be dumb, and I don't think he's a stupid dude. So you have your guy, run with him, see what he has, pay him his money, as long as it's not crazy. If you pay Geno 45, that's putting him up there with shit, right? The top, the top. You can't convince me that he's worth that, right? So I believe that's the problem. And like I said, they're waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers gets, what Russell Wilson gets, both Super Bowl winners, right? Both MVPs. Geno has none of that shit. You can't tell me you want the same as these guys that have chips, that have MVPs, that have been to numerous Pro Bowls, that have every flipping thing hanging on their wall they could possibly have, and you want the same amount of money as them with no playoff victories? You ain't even won a playoff game, and you want 45 mil. No, there's no way. So that's crazy. And then draft Shedeur. So we're paying what, $58 million a year for a quarterback? For 2 quarterbacks? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. So again, if they don't go running back, I would take Emeka Ibuka in the first round. I don't give a shit what, how people feel about it and say he's going to fall to the second. He's a second or third round dude. He's been in a Chip Kelly system. The dude catches everything you throw his way. He's just going to get bigger and faster and stronger in the NFL. I mean, why wouldn't you take that kid, right? You need a receiver. Already knows the system, going to help, other people with the terminology and the language. I think having Ohio State kids come in is going to be big. That's why I'm huge on Judkins. But if you're at 6, you know, and Genty's sitting there, I just don't see the Raiders passing on him. I just don't. Whether Raider Nation wants to hear that or not, whether they're going to be happy or not. If let me say this, let me say it like this: if Shedeur and Genty are there at number 6, I don't see him passing on Genty. I just don't see it, unless they believe there's a running back for better value they can get in the second round, and they're going to trade back. That's really how I see this going. Like, I've thought about this shit a million ways, every scenario, and yes, there's a million they could go, but Genty just makes all the sense in the world. And again, tomorrow I'm gonna break down. If anybody wants to pull up tomorrow and break it down with me tomorrow, shit, let me know. Hit me up on IG. But yeah, I'm gonna break down all the running backs, like the history of the Raiders running backs, the history of other teams running backs, where they were taken, what rounds, what they produced in their career in the NFL. And by looking at all of that, there is no way you could say that you just don't take a running back in the first round. All these teams, many of them have numerous playoff wins, have numerous Super Bowls, from drafting their future running back. And the biggest fact of taking a running back like Ashton Genty in the first round is you have him for 5 years. You're not paying him Saquon Barkley money. You're not paying him $25 million a year. You got 4 years and then a 5th-year option. You're not going to have that if you take a running back in the second round like Omarion Hampton or Quinshawn Judkins, right? You get him, 3 years? And then you're going to have to pay him a bunch of money. So future-wise, down the road, you're getting the best running back in this draft long-term at a cheaper price than a top running back in the NFL, like a Josh Jacobs, which I believe is slower than an Ashton Genty. Even Saquon, like all them dudes are. He's speed wise, he's right up there. Weight wise, he's right up there. What can't he do? I just don't see how you justify not taking a guy like this at number 6. Go back to 12. Get Jihad. Maybe use an extra second round to get a prospect quarterback. I'm down with that too. But everybody keeps saying, to 12. I don't know. Have the Raiders ever traded with the Dallas Cowboys in the draft? Can somebody look that up for me? Do I have any mods in here? Greg Lear, appreciate you pulling up. Luis Barrios, appreciate you. Jason Downs, appreciate you. If I didn't get y'all before. Sorry, I got a new system here and I can't read that little ass screen. And I can't figure out how to make it full screen. I don't have that option. At least I haven't found that option yet. So, all right, let me get to y'all shit. Trade down then. Trading down makes it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. No matter what scenario you pitch, no matter what you try to shimmy up or conjure up in your mind and say this is a better value, this is there's not, bro. There's not. Now I know you can get a Mason Graham at 6. You can take a chance on a Will Johnson who, missed a lot of last year. Already been hurt training for the combine for his pro day. I mean, you can take chances on guys like that, or you could just take the closest damn thing to a sure thing in an Ashton Genty at 6, or trade back. And there's a lot of teams, I guarantee you. I think the 49ers would be one of those teams. Again, I've said, like, I could see the Buffalo Bills, moving up and being one of those teams, right? Those are teams that are set that don't really need that first round pick next year or the year after if they get that key piece that they're missing this year. Which I don't know what that piece is for either. It could be a running back, it could be a Ashton Genty, it could be a O'Marion Hampton, it could be a offensive tackle like a Will Campbell. Same thing for a team like the Bengals. You might not need that first round pick for a long. Damn, that sun is right in my face. Um, you might not need that first round pick for a long time, right? You're paying money out the ass to two wide receivers and a quarterback. Like you probably can't afford to do anything but draft. Draft deeper in the draft and trade all the picks for a long, long time because free agency is not going to be in your future. Um, and Jahad Campbell would be a game changer for this franchise. I mean, you can go back to, I mean, what Rob, the fuck, I can't even think of his name, but just look at the history of linebackers for the Raiders, and think of Jahad Campbell, right? You know what he could do to this organization for how long, being on another guy you taking in the first round. You're on a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option. That's game changing. That's game changing financially. That's game changing future wise. That's game changing now. Like that dude would make this team all around better, not just the defense, right? Because your offense is gonna be on the field a hell of a lot more, right? When you got that, come on, you got Jahad Campbell behind Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Kuntz, Adam Butler, and Jonah Lalu subbing in and out, and Tyree Wilson. I forgot all about Tyree. Like he ain't even in the picture no more. I mean, dude, that is horrible. Um, so yeah, bro, that would be the nastiest defense in the NFL. I would almost guarantee that shit, and I'd be willing to bet money on it. You bring in no, I mean, with the safeties and the corners we have, right? Because they're not gonna have to cover. Like I said last year, I preached this so much, and it didn't happen, right? All our defensive line got hurt. We never got a chance to see. But it's the same thing I said last year. When your quarterback only has 2.2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, 2.8 seconds to throw the football, and he has to make quick, accurate decisions, it doesn't usually end up good for the quarterback. Whether it's a Patrick Mahomes, whether it's a Joe Burrow, whether it's, Lamar Jackson, whether it's Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, it never works out very well when you have to make quick decisions on the fly because you constantly have dudes in your face, right? Positive necessary. And that's our defensive line. That's a crazy nasty defensive line. And then you got a guy that you could throw in there blitzing. He can cover out of the backfield. He can even cover your slot guys if you had to, or your tight ends. Jahad Campbell would be. I mean, I would jump up and down and scream like a little bitch. I ain't gonna lie, and I'll probably be live for the draft with somebody. I guarantee you'll see me running around screaming, fucking trying to do a backflip, probably break my neck. Yeah, that would be crazy, dude. That would be crazy for me. What else we got? If you're choosing Milrow over Sanders or Dart over Sanders, that's a downgrade. How is it a downgrade? If you're letting them sit for 2 years, you have Geno Smith, right? 2 years. You're gonna let him sit for a year minimum, 2 years. You don't know if it's a downgrade. Like I think Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders are pretty damn close, except the fact that Jackson Dart is way more athletic, way more physical when it comes to running. I think he's way more decisive, doesn't take as many sacks. So you can put Jackson Dart right up there with Shedeur Sanders, and we'll see in this draft. People have criticized me on this channel for the last 6 months saying Jackson Dart is a first round pick, and I still believe it, and I'm gonna stand on that shit until April 27th or 24th when the draft is over, the first round, because guarantee you that dude is going in the first round. Whether it's the Steelers, whether the Jets, whether Cleveland, somebody is taking Jackson Dart. So, you know, it's not a downgrade to me if you take these guys and you let them develop under a damn good quarterback coach, a damn good offensive coordinator, a head coach that's 73 years old and has all the experience in the NFL on developing quarterbacks, third round, fourth round guys that were trashed their whole entire year that were drafted very, very high, turning them into those guys. So to me, that's not a downgrade. You have guys that are known for developing players in your building. I just don't see the downgrade. And you're not taking Shedeur at 6 because he's not going to be there anywhere else. Like, he's not going past that. You could hear all the hoopla if he's not picked by the Raiders at 6. He's fallen to the later rounds. I don't see that. Somebody's going to take him, even if they have a quarterback, and take a chance on him. Let him sit, see if he can be that dude. But I just don't see it being Sanders over Dart. That's a downgrade. Milroe is more athletic than Sanders and Jackson Dart will ever be. He's faster. He's way more physical. He has the body of a running back or a linebacker. He has way more arm strength. The only thing Jalen Milroe is lacking, and he has, damn good knowledge. Like I've talked about him on this channel a bunch. The dude already has his master's, and he's, he was supposed to go stay in school this year, and because he's working on his second master's or another degree in something else. So the dude is a very, very, very intelligent man, and he's built like a freak. He could throw the ball, 100 yards down the field. Like I said, they had to take him outside in his pro day because he kept hitting the building. So that's just freakish talent. And if you can develop that into 2 years, into, probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, why take a Shedeur at 6 and let him sit for 2 years when we don't know? A lot of people say Shedeur's already reached his upside, right? He's at his peak, his ceiling. He's there. He's not going to be more athletic. He's maybe take less sacks in the right system with the right team around him. But a lot of people say he's reached his ceiling. So I don't see how it's a downgrade to get a quarterback in the third round and let him develop instead of taking a quarterback at number 6 and letting him develop. I mean, but you have your opinion. I agree, though. Then you don't draft a quarterback, wait till next year, in my opinion, and trade for Joe Milton. But why trade for Joe Milton then if you're not going to draft a quarterback? That makes no sense either. You're going to trade a third round pick for a Joe Milton, but you're going to draft a quarterback in the third round. I mean, if you have a guy that you believe is your guy, then do it. But if you're going to trade a pick for a Joe Milton, yeah, he has 1 year experience. Yeah, he has one game under his belt in the NFL level, so he's going to be a little bit ahead of these guys coming out in college. I agree with that, but I don't see why you trade a third round pick when you can just take a Milroe who could be the same in the third round. But I'm not out on. I like Joe Milton. I thought the Raiders should have took a flyer on him last year. There's no reason where he went that we shouldn't have needing a quarterback, and maybe they felt they didn't have the guys in the building to develop him, and they passed on him or thought it was too much of a project. I don't know, but I like Joe Milton. I liked him in Tennessee. I think the dude has a lot of upside and potential. Last year, getting to sit was damn good for him. He sat by Brissett, right? Jacoby Brissett. So he sat behind a veteran, that's been in the NFL. He learned for a little bit. Then he also sat behind Drake May. So he got a little taste of the NFL. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Furpo, my guy, appreciate you pulling up in the building. Navman in the house as always. Salute, my brother. Uh, I don't want a second or third round quarterback, bro. Just wait till next year, man. I agree with that too. I mean, I agree with that too. But if you wait till next year, if you're signing Geno for a 2 or 3 year deal, then you're still. What if you don't have a first round pick in the top 10 next year? What if Geno comes out and kills it? Then what? Then you're taking a quarterback later in the first round or second or third round again. So, it's a spinning carousel of of what to do or what to pick or how to go about it in my opinion. But my man Rebel, what do you feel about the offseason moves so far, specifically with our own team? Craig Lira, man, I like the and appreciate you becoming a member, man. Means a lot. I like the moves. I like the moves. They're not overpaying. They're not any guys that are gonna flash and be Pro Bowl guys. Well, I'll take that back. They could be, but they're not Pro Bowl guys right now. They're not big time, flashy guys. We don't have the cap money, right? We don't have the cap money. Uh, Max Crosby took 10 of it right off the rip before free agency even started. Before we could even pay anybody, Mac took 10. Then we got Geno Smith. We gave up a third round. You got 31 or plus there. So we got 30 to anywhere from 35 40 to $55 million in cap like from two players. So I think that hurt us a little bit and limited, what we can do. And I think from the limitations that we had, I believe we did damn good. Like I said, I think Jeremy Chin has the potential to be that dude and a fan favorite in this franchise. Like I could almost guarantee Raider Nation is all going to be rocking Chin jerseys. Like the dude is a beast, right? He plays all over the field. He's constantly, smashing people in the mouth, knocking balls, knocking passes away. He's okay in coverage, not great, but better than what we had. I hated losing in-house guys. I hated losing Nate Hobbs. I hated losing Morrig. I hated losing, Spillane. He wasn't an in-house guy. I even hated losing Divine Diablo. And nobody talks shit on Divine Diablo. I'll bet money on that shit than I did all year long. Like I said constantly, the dude couldn't tackle a fucking mannequin in a department store. Like he was horrible when it came to wrapping guys up. And I couldn't understand why. 6'4", big long ass arms, fast as hell, and you can't tackle people. It just made no sense. But even losing Divine, hurt because he was, drafted the Raiders to me. So it hurt losing all those guys, but I thought we did well replacing them. I think Geno was a big pickup. Depending on, we still don't know what the money is. If it's only 31 mil for this year, then that's a huge pickup. Like right, that's a steal, right? That's a steal of free agency. Bringing back Malcolm Kuntz for 12 mil was fucking. I mean, shit. I couldn't have been happier. That was exactly what I projected. Some people, saying don't bring him back, don't re-sign him, blah blah blah, whatever. There was a bunch of numbers. I said I'd give him 12 for 1 year. They gave him 12 for 1 year, so I was stoked on that. I think he helps his defense if he stays healthy. The sky's the limit for Malcolm Kuntz, I believe, this year. Eric Stokes, again, another guy that is just, I think, has all the potential in the world. So I give it a B, like probably a B minus. I think Mostert, if he's starting, I might have to drop it down. If Kappa and Mustard and some of those dudes that we drafted are brought in free agency are starters, then I might drop it down to a C. But with the Geno deal, I still probably a C, man, probably a C plus, just because we still have holes to fill, and I think it's going to be rough filling them all in the draft. And we have just too many pieces on the roster of guys that we don't know what they are, or what they can do or what they're gonna do or how they're gonna help or where they're gonna fit. So yeah, I'm like a C plus, man, probably C plus. Now after the draft, hit me up again and ask me that question because I think it's gonna be way higher, and I believe we'll make some moves, after the draft and shit. We just made a move today. We brought back what the fuck we bring back Harper, right? So I mean, again, go back to guys that have chemistry or have a track record with other guys, right? So we signed another one, Patrick Graham's system. I do believe he played at UCLA for Chip Kelly, so they're building something, right? They're building something. They have an idea and a direction, which is something we haven't had in a long, long time in this organization. We didn't know which way was up, which way was down, whether we're going left or right. Nobody on the same page. The GM, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, all wanted to go different ways and all had their own philosophy and vision of where they wanted this team to go. And it's not just last year. It was the year before. It was the year before that, with Mayock and Gruden. They both, had different decisions of where they want what they wanted the team to look like. So I think we have more stability. I think everybody is on the same page of where they want to go. And you hear talks in the building of Ashton Genty and how a lot of the Raiders brass are very high on Ashton Genty, and I can see why, right? That's a Pete Carroll type of dude. That's a Spytek type of guy. That's a Chip Kelly. Like all those. The only one that I could see not happy about it would be Tom Brady going, "Holy shit, you're going to draft a running back in the first round." But if those dudes, I think all those dudes would be happy with that. It takes pressure off your quarterback, so I'm happy with the moves. Would I like to see? I mean, would I like to see more? Kind of. What I like to see is, get bigger names. I don't know. I really don't know. There was no this free agency to me, and I talked about it for months. There was really nobody that hit me in my chest, right? There was nobody when I looked at the name or looked at the film said, that dude's got to be a Raider. Like, sign him now. There was nobody like that. So I'm happy with what we got, right? And I guess there was a couple people I would, I wouldn't have mind bringing in Fries. What 3-4 years he's been in the NFL. I wouldn't mind bringing in a guy like that. Now the 3-year 50 something million he got is absolutely way out of our price range, and I wasn't down for that. I still think Tevin Jenkins would be a guy that would help this roster tremendously, like if he could stay healthy. And he don't even have to stay healthy, because if if he misses a game or even 2 or 3 games throughout the season, we'd have depth behind him. Whether we put him on the left side of guard or right side at guard, he was a guy highly talented coming in out of the draft at tackle. The Bears tried him there, it didn't work out. They moved him to guard. He's an absolute road grader in the run game at 10 mil. That's a dude that I would have been definitely willing to pay 10 mil for the season, or maybe negotiate, get him down, sign him to a 3-year deal, so we're not paying him 10 this year, maybe 7 and the rest down the road. But yeah, again, I think we did damn good, and there wasn't really nobody, like I said, that jumped out and was like, dude, we need this guy on the team. Now, a lot of people thought Becton was that dude. A lot of people thought, what the hell is the the dude that stayed in Kansas City, which I was never big on that dude. Becton, if you look at his grades and shit, I think the offensive line around him helped. I think the coaching staff there really helped that man, and we'll see what he does. But he's got a damn good coaching staff over there also where he's going. So I'm happy with it, man. I'm happy with it. if you weigh in everything, if you just look at the guys we brought in, you're like, damn, that wasn't enough. That's not enough to compete. But if you look at the guys that we brought in for the guys that we lost and the money that they got paid and what we would have had to pay them to stay here, then I think we hit a home run. And I think we could, I think we hit at least a triple, and we can drive that run in the draft, right? Or load the bases and fucking hit a grand slam in the draft, which is very well possible. Again, we go back to last year, how many games we lost because of turnovers, right? We were in every game, not one, not two, all 17 games into, at the half. It was neck and neck right there. We were down by 7, down by 3, not down by a lot. I think the Carolina game was the only game we might have been, up by more than 7 points or down by more than 7 points at the half. But every other game we were in until the third quarter. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't throw the ball. The third quarters this year were the worst in Raider history. And if you don't believe me, go look up the stats. We have never had third quarters in the history of the NFL like we had this year. We didn't score any points. We didn't get any yards. We basically just shit the bed every single game after halftime. So, and it was because of turnovers right away, whether it be the quarterback, whether it be the running backs. We just didn't do well in the third quarter. And I think if we had, better quarterback play, or if we made a different decision starting the season at quarterback, that might have been a different case. So my point is, we didn't lose a lot of games because we were bad, like everybody says. We didn't, lose a game because we didn't have the dudes to compete, right? We almost beat Kansas City, a team that was in the Super Bowl, or, a team that was in the Super Bowl again. We had them on the ropes, and if we wouldn't have botched a snap, we would have beat Kansas City. So we beat the Baltimore Ravens the second, they beat themselves, but we still got a dub. The second week of the season, we were competitive in a lot of games. We downplayed, teams like the Browns, the Panthers, because they were shit, and, we knew it. We were also injured. That didn't help. But we were in a lot more games than people think, and I think Pete Carroll wouldn't have took this job, and Spytek wouldn't have took this job, and I guarantee you there is no way Chip Kelly's going to come in and run this offense if he didn't look at this offense and look at tape last year and say, damn, this really could have been a whole nother team. Instead of 4-13, they could have been the 13-4 that I predicted them to be very, very easily. Very easily. Minus some turnovers and, again, different quarterback play. But even with the injuries we had, that's even losing Christian Wilkins, our best defensive lineman, Max Crosby, the whole franchise, right? And he gets paid like it. Losing Kuntz before the season even started. That's 3 of our top defensive linemen. And everybody says you changed the game in the trenches. We lost those dudes, and we were still competitive. So I don't think any of those guys would have been like, yes, let's go coach the Raiders. Let's be the general manager of the Raiders, if they didn't think this team was going to be competitive. And I guarantee you Pete Carroll wouldn't have came out and said, we're competing right now. We're not trying to rebuild. I'm not into that shit. We're going to be competitive right now. There's a reason. He looked at this roster and was like, shit, they really could have had a whole different season last year if they would have just had, a couple things go their way a little bit different, which it's the NFL, right? Not for long. Antonio Pierce, bye. Getsy, bye. The Turners, bye. Shit didn't work out. You got to go. But the season very well could have ended a lot different than it did by just a couple little things. And most of it was turning the ball over. Joe Milton is better than any of those second round prospects. I believe that. But he's another one of those guys that, same as what the hell was I trying to say? Same as Jalen Milroe. He's that, He's big. He's strong. He don't have much touch on the ball. Doesn't make quick enough decisions. When he does, they're the bad decisions. Sometimes quarterbacks can have too much confidence because they're big and strong, and they're like, dude, I can just, I can squeeze this ball in any hole, positive necessary. Um, in any window, I could fit it in there, and sometimes that hurts them. It's the NFL, bro. These are the one percenters of the one percenters. Everybody's elite when you get to the NFL. Now, not everybody plays like it because they have injuries and they have shit that happens, but all these guys are elite, or they wouldn't be in the NFL. So, I believe Joe Milton can definitely be that dude, but I think it's going to be another year sitting. If he sits for 2 more years, that dude's going to be scary, right? If he allows himself to develop and be that guy. That's another problem with the NFL is you take these guys in the first round, and I know Milton wasn't drafted in the first round, but you take guys in the first round like a Shedeur, you know, whoever else was taken in the first round, Patrick Mahomes, that sit for a year. For Patrick Mahomes, it worked out great, right? He became that guy pretty damn quick, developed quick, you know, took the reins the next year. He didn't have to wait too long. But for somebody like a Shedeur, that constantly talks about how good he is, him being the best, and I'm not knocking it, bro. If without confidence, you're nothing in life. So, if you don't believe in yourself, who will, right? So, yeah, to a point, some of it irritates me, the cockiness, but the confidence in himself. And if you're confident in yourself and you believe that you're that dude, and you get, drafted in the first round and you're sitting on the bench for a year or two, you can lose confidence very, very, very quick, right? And be humbled. And for some people, that just ruins them. I mean, they can't be that guy. Look at fool over there with the Dallas Cowboys, Trey Lance, right? Trey Lance was young. He was drafted. He thought, shit, I'm drafted in the first round. I'm going to be that dude. Well, he got to the NFL. He got a little bit of humble, reality check, and he wasn't that dude. And then maybe he didn't get in the playbook. Maybe he wasn't studying other teams. And when his opportunity came, he wasn't ready because, it got in his head that he thought he was that man, and you wasn't. And you got beat out by Brock Purdy or fucking but not talking shit on anybody. I'm just saying for some people it can't be good. So what else is there? Some people it just doesn't work to sit, and I'm sure Joe Milton got, humbled a little bit when he was drafted where he was drafted, sitting all year. I'm sure every quarterback goes into the NFL draft, thinking they're that dude, that they're going to be picked and they're going to be the franchise quarterback. And humble pie is a horrible, horrible thing. Thanks for the membership badge. Who gave memberships? Wait, what? Did somebody hand out memberships? Was I sleeping? Should I need to thank somebody? What's going on? Furpo, appreciate you on the break. Mark Carbone, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you in the building. Let's do a poll on what percentage of Raider fans are going to be pissed on the draft. Bro, I could tell you. I could tell you right now. 100%. 100%. No, 50% guaranteed. That's a guarantee. Like, half are going to be mad because they didn't get their guy. The other half are going to be mad because we reached. The other half are going to be mad, because we traded back and we got more value and built the team, but it wasn't building the team the way that they wanted us to build the team, right? Because GM compute internet GMs fucking. So yeah, we already know how that shit's gonna go. Are they gonna have to a press conference from Gino? Trade was announced 10 days ago. What the fuck? I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like every other content creator and insider, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but it doesn't look good. Like it can't. It can't be good. This is why. This is why. Man, my fucking head is hurting. I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting a headache. Try this, see if it works. Nope, that ain't gonna work. But this is why, man. Fuck, I was gonna leave this shit off. When you go trade for a quarterback and you trade a third round pick for a quarterback, you don't just go in a trade, you know, talking about a trade willy nilly with no plan, right? With no homework. And I know tampering season, wasn't available. You can't talk to dudes. But man, you can make up some shit and be like, damn. So if you was to drive, if you was to buy that car we was talking about, how much would you be willing to pay for that car, right? Would it be 16 mil? Would it be 31 mil? Would it be 41 mil, 45? Like, how much you willing to pay for this vehicle that I'm trying to sell you? I mean, you can get away with that shit. I guarantee you. I'm sure it's been done a million times in the NFL. Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. You ain't talking about football, right? You're just trying to get a ballpark figure of, okay, if I was to make this trade for you, are you going to want 3 years, right? Are you going to want 3 years at 30 mil, 3 years at 40 mil? I know you turned down 45 mil. So are you going to want that if I bring you here, to revive your career, rejuvenate your career again like I did the first time? And you're in Vegas with no taxes. What's that going to cost me, right? What's it going to cost me? But they didn't, obviously. They didn't have no plan. They didn't have no price range. I mean, or it would have already been done, right? We wouldn't be sitting here asking, where is the interview with our quarterback? When are we going to find out who our quarterback, what's he about? Is he happy to be here? What's the plan? Has he met people in the building? That shit scares me, right? It scares me a lot. Now, to me, there's a conflict. There's got to be a conflict. Is that conflict Gino wanting too much money? Is that conflict Gino wanting too many years? Is that conflict them saying we're going to go get Shedeur at 6 and you might only be the quarterback for a year? Like, is he not happy with that shit? There's a lot of scenarios going on behind closed doors that we have no idea what it could be. They could be with straight out after they traded and said, hey, look, this is our plan. You're going to be our bridge guy. We're going to get in our quarterback. But next year, you're not going to be the guy. So we'll pay you 45 mil for 1 year, and then we'll move on from you, if that's the case, or whatever. We'll pay you 65 or 70 mil. We'll give you 45, this year, and we'll pay you 30 next year. Like, I don't know. But to me, you got to go in you don't go and trade for a quarterback and trade a third round pick with all the holes we have and, fill a need, not knowing what it's going to cost you long term, how much it's going to cost you, is it going to set you back? Are you going to draft a quarterback or not? I'm sure all that shit has already been worked out in the building and talked about. But the fact that he's, taking pictures in Miami, we heard somebody in an interview say they did meet Gino, that he was in the building. So I guess he's been there. Maybe he came and then left and had vacation plans in Miami. I don't know. But for been taking pictures in Miami with Shedeur, when you should be negotiating, a contract, just makes no sense to me. So to me, it throws up red flags either way you want to look at it. It should be done and over with, right? There should not be a long talk. We know what he wanted. We know what he turned down. I mean, there could be also another scenario, and I wasn't going to throw this shit out there, but I don't know how a contract works, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm a genius. I've negotiated 15,000 contracts in the NFL, and I could tell you every little thing, how it goes. I'd be fucking ball face lying to you, and I don't do that shit, right? I try to be upfront with my family, with my nation. Um, but what if that 16 mil that he's due and owed? What if the Raider brass and these new um, minority owners that have all these billions of dollars? Is there a way that they pay that $16 million as a upfront cash bonus, because it is a bonus, right? Didn't Max Crosby get a $6 million bonus last year? They just gave it to him for no reason, right? Nobody got in trouble. There was no stipulations. It didn't count for our cap. It didn't count for our dead money. It didn't count for any of that shit. Because what I'm getting at is Geno Smith is owed $16 million already because we didn't, negotiate the contract as of yesterday. So he's due that money. And that money was was from a bonus, right? It wasn't contract. His contract was 14 mil with 16 mil in bonuses, right? So that's a bonus. Could they pay that 16 mil, cash money and be like, all right, we'll pay you this 16 mil cash, and if you'll play for 31 mil this year and 31 mil next year, maybe they're trying to get it lowered down so they can use that money to build this franchise, or maybe take that player in the first round and it not hurt as much. You're not paying 40 $58 million for for two quarterbacks for one to sit on the bench and shit and learn. All right, what do y'all got to say? I don't know how to do a poll. I haven't figured that out yet. Like I said, it's a new system. I'm working on it. I'm an old man. I'm trying to get to that shit. I will figure it out eventually. Are they going to have a press? That's what I just read. Jahad Campbell is perfect for Pete Carroll. I mean, Jahad Campbell is perfect for Pete Carroll. Alec Emanwari is perfect for a Pete Carroll system. I think the most perfect, when it comes to that hybrid type safety would just be crazy. I'm listening. I'm about to make a couple videos. Be right back. Okay. Cool. Okay, but is Sanders better than Dart? I don't feel he is. I don't feel Sanders is better than Dart. I just don't see it. Now, I know Shedeur Sanders has a $1 billion daddy who's paid for Tom Brady to come work out with them, and probably paid for all the best coaches in the history of since he's been wee high to a grasshopper. He's been mentored and built to be that quarterback. And with all that, I don't see him being better than Jackson Dart. I just don't. Like, a couple things. I think maybe his accuracy, mid-range accuracy. I think his decisive decision making, is a little bit faster. He doesn't have a stronger arm. The accuracy downfield is, questionable. Probably a tie between the both of them. So no, I don't think Shedeur is better than Jackson Dart. I just don't think so. I don't. Like I said, even with all that high train, all that fucking high tech coaching and all that shit, all that money, it's not, bro. If you look at Jackson Dart and the teams he's played in the last 2 years or the last 3 years at Ole Miss, he's played Alabama, Georgia, Ohio, Oregon, like Tennessee, dude, all these top notch teams that have been top teams, in college football for many moons. So to me, I just don't see it. And I get it. Shedeur, turned the franchise around. But Jackson Dart kind of did the same thing. Ole Miss wasn't, the greatest when he took over there either. And so, no, I just don't. I don't say he's better. I can't. I just don't see it. Break over later. Back to work. Just win, baby. Raiders. Yeah, Sanders is more accurate. I said that, but he also takes way more sacks. He also holds the ball way too long. He also doesn't like throwing the ball over the middle of the field. We have a tight end. His name is Brock Bowers. Most of his passes come over the middle of the field. Now, to the sidelines, I get it a lot last year, little short passes and shit. But most of the tight ends catches come to the middle of the field where Shedeur, numbers aren't that great. Accuracy isn't that great. He also had, some can question, the best receiver in college football, some would say, throwing him the ball. That's going to make a quarterback look very accurate too, when you can just step back off your back foot and throw the ball up in the air because on a one-on-one, Travis Hunter's coming down with that shit all day long, 99% of the time. So I give him that. I give him that too. But three most overrated prospects in the NFL draft is Amarian Hampton. I thought you said three. Why do you say that, Cowtown? Why do you say that? That is a very unpopular opinion. Like I said, I don't see him being number two. I don't. I think it's Quinshawn Judkins by far, by far. And there's a couple other running backs that I would definitely question and put up there, but um, I don't know. I don't know. You're gonna have to answer that, bro. You don't make sense. Sanders is a first round pick. Dart is a second. He's not better. That's what you believe, and I respect your opinion, bro. Respectfully respect your opinion. But how do I not make sense? I don't believe Shedeur is a first round quarterback. I don't believe Dart is a first round quarterback. I'm even skeptical about Cam Ward being, the number one pick overall. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in this draft, they're both going in the first round. Now, a lot of people have said if Shedeur isn't picked by one of these quarterback needy teams in the first six picks, he could fall to the second round. A lot of people say Jackson Dart is a second round quarterback, but there have been many people that said he's quarterback number two. He's tied with quarterback number two. So I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get what you're saying, bro. Um, I didn't say third round pick Joe Milton is more ready than prospects right now. I get you. He's been in the NFL for a year, right? He's already, got acclimated a little bit to the speed of the NFL. He got to play in a game. But accuracy wise, touch wise, I don't think Joe Milton is better than Dart or Shedeur. Like, I don't know. Better than any of those prospects right now. I don't think Joe Milton is better than Cam Ward either. I don't see that. He has the potential to be in the right system. He very well could be. If you put him in a system like the Philadelphia Eagles, where he's going to run the ball a lot, make plays with his legs, make first down with his legs, throw 5, 10 yard passes and let his receivers make, plays with their legs and make, get a bunch of yak yards, then yeah, you could totally put him in that system and he's probably better. But you could put a lot of quarterbacks in a system like that. Like Rich Gannon won 2 AFC championships and went to a Super Bowl in that system. Wasn't the greatest quarterback or greatest athlete in the NFL. Rebel, what is your theory? Why it is taking so long on Geno Smith? Damn, I'm fucking way behind in this chat. Yep, 10 days no press conference. Excited about our new QB. Like I said, man, that's it. Sounds like one of those sales balloons with long arms. Can't take right. Noodle and spaghetti arms, right? They just melt when you touch people. If we drafted Jenny, we shouldn't prioritize. Wait, if we draft Genty, we should prioritize drafting run blocking. 1,000%. That's what I'm saying. You can take Genty at 6, or you could even trade back, into the 10 through 20 range, and probably still grab Ashton Genty there, and then have another second round pick, and possibly another, maybe a second and a third round pick, or a second and a fourth, second and a fifth, is very doable, and maybe a pick next year, depending on what the value is of that 6th round pick. So with those, if you're trading back the 6th round pick and you're getting, swapping 1st round picks, and you're getting, say, a second and a fourth, I mean, you could take easily get a lineman in the 2nd and in the 4th. You could take your tackle in the 2nd and your guard in the 4th. Build the trenches. You have to build the trenches if you get Ashton Genty, is what I'm saying. That's been the point. Like, I'll take Ashton Genty all day, but not in the situation we have. We don't have a run blocking offense. That's not their strong point. Because I haven't seen it in free agency with Alex Kappa. Like I said, last year we got 2 starters out of the draft, right? A 3rd round and a 2nd round. Both became starters and possibly franchise starters. I mean, very high possibility they are both franchise, starting offensive linemen for this franchise for many, many moons. We got that in the 2nd and 3rd. We could do that again. There's a lot of talent on this offensive line where you could, a lot of people have Wyatt Millum, fall into the 2nd round. Just a beast for a guard. Once that dude latches onto you, he ain't letting go. And, he's a run blocking dude. Like, he's a road grader. He's just dominating whoever's in front of him. So you can go that route in the draft. And again, if we have to, I mean, shit, we don't know. They traded for Geno. They could be working on a trade for an offensive lineman. Maybe they have somebody in mind that's a backup somewhere that, they're trying to go out and get. But we could still build for, definitely build the trenches. I'm nervous, man. Everyone's saying the draft a running back, but the only move run blocking is Alex Kappa. Makes me nervous. The whole division is upgraded offensive line except us. I'm with you 100%. They do, but why have they upgraded that offensive line? Because the Raiders' defensive line, right? They're looking, I guarantee you, every one of those teams in this division is looking at the Raiders' defensive line and saying, we have to upgrade. We have to upgrade quickly. And we should probably be thinking the same thing. But you can make a case that, I mean, we might have the most, the fastest and athletic quarterback with Geno Smith being 34. I mean, no, he's not Patrick Mahomes. But I believe he's a little bit faster, right? I think he's a lot faster, still at 34. So we got a guy that can, move around, make plays with his legs, like the Kansas City Chiefs can, like Denver. Shit, we seen Bo Nix make a lot of running plays last year. So, and their run games were all solid, right? All 3 of those teams had damn good run games. The Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs went through 4 different running backs. They were still averaging over 100 yards a game. The Broncos, using 3 running backs, I don't think they averaged 100 yards a game, but if they did, it was right at somewhere in there. The Chargers, with Dobbins, ran all over people. So yes, definitely we have to upgrade the offensive line, but we need a run game. We can't be in a division where our quarterback is the 4th best, our running back is the 4th best, our offensive line is the 4th best, our corners are the 4th best, our linebackers are the fourth best and expect to compete right away. Like that's not going to happen. So we have to do something really, really quick. And I believe we're going to do it in the draft. Like I think there's a lot of guys. Besides Ward at the top, quarterback, Ernest, my guy, was good. Appreciate you. I bet Brady has sixth round quarterback he really likes. Tyler Shook or Will Howard. I've said that too. I've said that too. Tom Brady, where he was drafted, seventh round, sixth round, whatever he was drafted, came out to be one of the greatest picks of all time. I'm sure Tom Brady feels he can find talent in the later rounds. Now I don't know if it's going to be the sixth round or the seventh round. I don't see Will Howard falling that far. I don't even see Tyler Shook falling that far. I feel like, fifth round probably both of those guys go. Now Howard, if his pro day is better, after the combine, if the Raiders don't take him by the third or fourth round, he could possibly fall that far. I can see that happen, but Tyler Shook with his athleticism and ball placement, he's pretty damn good at pre-snap reads and shit. I'd be surprised if he falls that far. But if he does, that's a hell of a. I mean, that's a steal right there. Man, those are projects they need to sit a long time. I'd rather just find a quarterback next year. But that's Luis. I get what you're saying, but that's the whole point of this conversation is if we're paying a quarterback $45 million, why are we going to take one in the first round? Like Gino's going to be here for at least 2 years minimum and probably 3. Probably 3. He definitely has 3 years in him. If he can continue to play at the level or hopefully better turnover wise, better than the level he played at last year, he's going to be here 2 years. So, I mean, if it depends on what we sign him. If we sign him to a 3 or 4 year contract, it's crazy taking a quarterback this year, and it might be crazy taking one next year. I think they're leaning more towards the fact that if we take Gino, right? If we take Gino now, we have a chance to compete year 1, year 2, year 3. If he starts to fall off, so be it. If Pete Carroll signs for a 4th year, we keep him for a 4th year. If that year is a shit year, then, there's a chance that we're back up there in the top 10 picks and you go get your quarterback then. I mean, but I agree with you have to take a quarterback. We should have been taking one every year. I agree with that scenario, with that logic of, every year you should draft a quarterback, whether it be the 6th round, 7th round, 4th, you should take a chance, especially when you're at a point where your quarterback is of age or coming of age where you don't know how long he's going to make it. One bad tackle or, one bad injury could end a career for somebody that's 34 or up there past that. So I get all that. But again, like I said, the teams that hold up. Let me see if this. Oh yeah. All right. So, for example, first round quarterbacks that sat the first year, right? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sat for a reason. He was on a Packers team that was making the playoffs every year that had a quarterback in Brett Favre, right? They had Brett Favre. They had a playoff team. They didn't have many needs. So when you have a chance to draft a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers caliber in the first round, you have that luxury to take a luxury pick and take that backup quarterback for the future. You get what I'm saying? Their team didn't have the holes that the Raiders have. We have too many holes to do that. Drew Brees in 2001. I don't know who the quarterback was that he took over for some reason. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But Drew Brees sat for his first year, right? The next year, he took over. That team, you could say, was, pretty well developed. They still had some holes, but they were, iffy. Michael Vick, right? Michael Vick drafted in 2001. He sat for a year, was like, a Milroe style, a Joe Milton style. He could run the hell out of the ball. Probably should have been a running back. Fastest guy in the draft. Could throw it 1,000 yards. Just had to work on some things, right? Pre-snap reads, vision of coverage, after snap, uh, you know, accuracy, timing, all that shit, right? Had to work. So he sat for a year. Eli Manning sat for a year, was that guy. Another, team that was shit pretty much built, right? Pretty much built when they drafted him. Phillip Rivers, Carson Palmer, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Jordan Love. Those are first round talents that sat for a year. But those guys, like I said, they were drafted by teams that already had a quarterback in place. Maybe wasn't their quarterback of the future, but already had a quarterback in place. Were decent teams, and a lot of them moved up to get those guys, right? They jumped up to take those quarterbacks. So, and they had, they were an established organization. They had established wins. They weren't a franchise that just came off a 4-13 season. So yeah, I mean, Greenlaw would have been a great pickup at linebacker. Greenlaw scares me, bro. He's injured. Comes back, plays 30 snaps or some shit, and gets injured again. I'm tired of taking older guys with injury problems, and I don't wish him the best because he's in our division. So, Mac Becton, what? Mac and Becton, I thought were foundational pieces. And I think you do sign players like that, obviously. We didn't. The Chargers did. And we'll see how that, and we see what the game cut on. What? And we'll see what the game count on. Again, though, the Chargers made it to the playoffs the year before. Like, I don't know why I can't get this fucking point across. Like, Kenna, what's good? Happy St. Patty's Day, my guy. Appreciate you. The Chargers were a pretty established team. Now, I know they lost their head coach. I know they lost their GM. Harbaugh came in. He didn't really clean house, right? He got rid of some receivers. He made some moves on the offensive line. Got the best, Joe Alt, the best tackle in the draft. He changed that team around quick. They're a playoff caliber team. They can afford to go spend 20, 25, 40, $60 million on an offensive lineman because they don't need really a whole lot of pieces. Now, us, on the other hand, we don't have our quarterback. We don't have our running back. We don't have all our receivers. So we're not in a position to be able to pay those big name guys. You get what I'm getting at? Now, I know you could say, but if you pay those guys, you build around them. And I agree with that 1,000%. We should have went and got a big name guy. However, I feel very strongly that this team and the guys in this organization that are running this franchise right now did their homework and were like, okay, for that price, he's not that guy, right? Or they would have went and got him. They would have went and got a Fries or a Becton, They would have made those moves if they really felt that was the guy that was going to help turn this organization around right off the bat. But for the price, they were like, nah, we can get a guy way cheaper that could do the same thing. Truth be told, trenches need to be addressed this year. Why do you say that, Ernest? I mean, we had a rough offensive line last year, right? It was a makeshift revolving door, like a saloon, or like going into a hotel, the spinning doors. We had a revolving door of offensive line. I get it, but when they played 5 or 6 games together, that five man team played very strong and played their best football of the season. Now I do believe we ended the year. Uh, excuse me, damn. I do believe we ended the year um, somewhere like the 13th best offensive line. I don't know if that's true, but I seen the reports and I didn't follow up on it because fucking ADD got sidetracked. But I think this offensive line has potential. We need a guard. You know, Colton Miller. You can say what you want about Colton Miller. He struggled last year, but if you look at his numbers down the stretch from December on, Colton Miller was lights out, bro. He played Colton Miller style, like Pro Bowl style ball. Now he had a couple misses here and there. Everybody does. Um, JPJ, I was looking at his grades. They're not as high as I thought, bro. He's graded like a 68 overall. Run blocking grade was bottom 60s or 50s, I think, and pass blocking grade was low 60s. So yeah, he's gonna have to work on it. But he was a rookie thrown into the fire. I get all that. He's gonna bounce back just fine. DJ Glaze, another guy that wasn't graded the greatest overall. Run grade was in the 50s. Pass blocking grade was close to the 70s. So I agree. We have some work to do, but also we had a shitty offensive line coach to start the year. We also had a bunch of injuries where guys were playing when they shouldn't have been playing because they weren't healthy, like Colton Miller. I feel like after we brought Joe Philbin in, the offensive line changed, right? The intensity, the tenacity, all that shit changed. The physicality, they were faster on the get off. They weren't getting pushed around as much. So I believe it. Yeah, I agree. We need improvements, but I don't think it's as drastic as some people think. Right? It's like maybe one or two guys. I would love to have an overall grade of a 90 at right tackle. 100%, and shit, maybe we can get that in this draft. Maybe they go get one of those big boys and he turns out to be that dominant right tackle, and maybe we can move a DJ Glaze into a right guard position where I think he has the athleticism and um the capabilities and the techniques to play that guard positions. That would be huge for us. So I don't know. I feel they have a plan. There's some reason they didn't go out and grab these big names, because let's be honest, there was a bunch of big name tackles, guards, even centers, which we don't need a center really, but we could have got a center if that was the case and moved JPJ over to left or right guard because he played well at both of those positions. So I feel like they have a plan. They have a plan in place where, or they would have went out and spent that money. So they have needs. Obviously it was that quarterback, right? 30, 40, 45 mil. We don't know what it's going to cost, but that was our big signing. I don't know why, people are expecting more with the money we had. 92 million doesn't go very far when you're a quarterback and a guy that wasn't, shouldn't have had a contract, shouldn't have had a contract extension. It shouldn't have been the talk. He was still had 2 years under his shit. When those dudes take 40 to 45 to 50 million dollars, I don't know how Raider Nation or fans can expect us to make more moves. Like, what options do we have? What options do we actually have? We don't have the money to do that shit. Like, guys that were already here and trading for a guy to be our franchise guy. That's what I'm saying. That's drafting a quarterback doesn't make sense. We don't have the money to get all these crazy ass dudes. 28 million for Mac Becton. You wouldn't do that with this defensive line. Other offensive line. Think about that, man. What? $28 million for Mack and Becton. It would have made sense. It would have made sense. But then what's your dead cap hit on those guys? You know, we're thinking for the future. We're thinking now and for the future. We already have a pretty, decent dead cap hit, which I don't even know how it got that high. But I mean, yeah, Becton might have been great with Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack didn't leave on very great terms. He was not happy that Gruden traded him, and he's taking it out on this organization every time he's played us, bro. Like, I don't think Khalil, you could ask him and see what he wants to say, but I don't think Khalil Mack was an option. I don't think the Raiders knew that wasn't going to be a thing, right? Now, I agree with Becton. That it would have been a great pickup. Letting him go to the Chargers really hurt, right? That makes it harder for us to get to the quarterback, to get to the running back. And it really would have helped Geno Smith. It would have helped Geno Smith be way better. We need to do like the Eagles, build the trenches every year. D-line rotate. D-line rotates, works for them. Not why not us? I agree with that too. I agree with that. They did rotate a lot. And we're going to also. I guarantee you, Adam Butler's not going to be out there 100% of the snaps, right? I guarantee you, Christian Wilkins ain't going to be out there 90, 80% of the snaps. Jonah Lalu's going to get his reps. Tyree Wilson's going to get his reps. We're going to be bringing guys in and out. Now, hopefully, we can all pray that they bring the right guys in at the right time and the right guys out, because there is kind of a drop-off between there and there. But we're going to do that. We're healthy. We're going to wear down teams with our defensive front. It's going to make our defensive backfield and our linebackers better, not having to cover for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. In drafting Mimbu or Will Campbell, I am drafted Judkins and Travion Henderson and a linebacker with speed, our top picks. But how are Luis? Come on, man. If you can get all those guys in this draft, everybody in the nation would be 1,000% fucking tickled pink, bro. Like, we'd be rolling on our backs, kicking our feet, right? Yelling, screaming. But there is no draft possible where you're drafting Membu, Will Jackson, Judkins, and Henderson, and a linebacker with speed. I mean, I guess there were some fast linebackers in this draft, but if you want the top guys, you're gonna have to take them in the first. I like Denarius Knight, bro. Denarius Knight Jr. I think that would be a steal for the Raiders. That would give us our speed at linebacker. I would be fucking ecstatic if you took Quinshon Judkins. Will Campbell, the arm thing, we all know that's a big issue in the NFL when you got dinosaur arms. That kind of scares me. But his speed and athleticism at the combine kind of put all that to bed. I would be happy with Campbell. I would be happy, with Membu. Again, I would be happy with the hell Simmons, or what the hell is that dude's name? Yeah, Josh Simmons at Ohio State. I'd be good with that too. How many Pro Bowlers has Spytek drafted? Well, I can answer that very easily. 0. Spytek has never drafted anybody. He was never a general manager. He's been assistant GM. So he's been in the building. He's been a part of the process. He's had his say. But physically, 0. He's never drafted anybody. This will be his first year he ever drafts anybody. We already know how many. We already know the 2002 offensive line. We had Rich Gannon MVP. That's what this GM's vision is. If that was their vision, they probably should have went and got a Becton and a Fries, right? Like, you know, if that was their vision, go spend that money. I wouldn't have been mad at it. There are plenty of good players on the market still. We have to wait and see when the next puzzle pieces is plugged into the roster. Yeah, I don't. I mean, they could be done if you look at our money, right? We're just at around somewhere around 40 something, mid 40s, high 40s, I do believe. But if you sign Gino to that contract, that could take another 10 mil off of that. That'll put us in the 30s with the draft, having money for injury purposes or, casualties during the season where you might have to bring in a guy or, replace an injured guy. You have to have money on the books for that. You can't spend all the money and be behind. So, you know, I feel like there's some moves out there that could be made possibly, but then there's that other side of me that feels like we're kind of done. Like, if it's going to be a small piece here, a small piece there, because we still have a little bit of holes to fill. I believe we have 68, 66 or 68 guys on the roster. We need 90, 94 is it? 94 to fill out for camp. So, I mean, that's 20 something more guys. We only have 10 draft picks or 9 draft picks. So we have to sign guys, right? We have to. I mean, we need 18 rosters to start the season, 54. And then you need, 94 guys in camp to compete for a roster spot. So we have a lot of spots to fill. So I definitely see us bringing in guys, but it's not going to be, no huge names like everybody wants. Bro, I feel like Shedeur Sanders is there as a huge possibility. He could become a Raider. I don't think it's a huge possibility. I think it's a very small possibility. But I agree. I mean, I respect your decision. Good shit, bro. Whoa. Raider Booster with the $5 holler. Appreciate you. Hey, check your chat, bro. Candy is trying to reach out to you. I'm so far fucking behind in this. I don't know where. Damn. All right. Can I get a show of hands in the chat if you want Rebel to change that damn drop light? Oh, shit. All right, man. I will change the lighting when I get back somehow. Fucking Cowtown. Always got jokes, bro. Donations. I got a $5 donation. Any more donations for a drop light? Cowtown wants the drop light changed. It's not a drop light, bro. It's just a ugly ass big light. Damn it. All right, so a bunch of y'all ain't getting your shit read. I apologize. Stop raining in respect. Check out your text, Rebel. Which one? Why are you calling me in the middle of shit? Okay, y'all gotta give me some slack. Did y'all not see that or hear me when I said in the beginning this is a new shit, new feed? So I have no chat pulled up. I have it pulled up on my phone. I wear glasses. I have shitty ass lighting. Fucking give me a break. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, come on, man. Damn. Fuck. Give me a break. What are you trying to say, Candy? Hawaiian Candy. Can you please put your message now? Fuck. If it's that important. What facts can I throw out to make you change your mind? Nothing. Nothing once someone is determined to like a player so bad, no facts will change. What player are we talking about? What player? What player are we talking about? Bless you. Laughing my ass off. Now you want me to come up with facts for you? Yes, Cowtown. Fucking duh. The fuck, man. Yes, I do. Go read Daniel Jeremiah article. Why you don't draft a running back if your team is not ready for them. You waste your players' vital years. Okay, I get that, but we're not that far off from being ready from them. We have the quarterback. We have Brock Bowers and a tight end. Genty is going to make Brock Bowers' job 100 times easier. He's going to make him 100 times better. He's going to make Jacoby Myers better. And I get what Daniel Jeremiah is saying. I get what everybody's trying to say about why you don't draft a running back in the first round. But we have our quarterback now. If we didn't have our quarterback, I get it. We have a pretty solid offensive line that, showed with Aiden O'Connell in the game when you had somebody to stretch. Bro, we had a running back like Amir Abdullah run for 100 yards. I mean, the first time ever in his career, in his life, ran for 100 yards. You can't tell me our offensive line is that bad. If Amir Abdullah with Aiden O'Connell under center can run for 100 yards, you don't think Ashton Genty can get 100 yards a game or more? I feel he can. So I get what Daniel Jeremiah is saying. But I don't give a shit, bro. I don't give a shit. You're not going to find a Genty. You're not going to find a Marcus Allen. You're not going to find a Barry Sanders. You're not going to find a LaDainian Tomlinson. You're not going to find that dude in the second or the third round of this draft or any draft. You're going to have to take a chance on one in the first round. And every quarterback or running back show is tomorrow. Running back show is tomorrow. There isn't a player in this draft that is good at their position as Ashton Genty is at bloating the running back position. 100% facts. And he don't give a fuck what Daniel Myers says, bud, on my own film. And I make my own opinion. Couldn't have said it better myself. I don't give a shit, like Cowtown said, what these dudes say. I watch film too, and I've seen a million running backs in the Raiders organization, from Napoleon Kaufman to McFadden to fucking, the list goes on and on. Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen. I mean, bro, Tyrone Wheatley. We can just keep naming running backs. The fact is, none of those running backs are like Hall of Fame running backs like the rest of the NFL has, three or some teams have 3 or 4 Hall of Fame running backs. We don't have that shit. What the fuck? Hello. What? See what? Fuck are you talking about? Call me screaming and shit. People want to see what? I don't get it. Rebel the ranting raider. Jimmy, you can see the stop line. I can see it. But what am I supposed to be checking? What? Check my phone for a video. I can't put up videos, bro. What are you talking about? For one.
What do you say? Raiders.
You send it on my phone, bro. Like, I don't get it. What do you want?
What do you say? Raiders.
That's my grandson. All that nonsense for that shit, girl, you are annoying as hell. I swear to God. I'll tell you what. Oh. I'm high on Membu. He could be a sure Lincoln Kennedy. I'm not gonna say anybody is a sure Lincoln Kennedy. That's just a wild accusation and a take. But if he was, bro, I'm stoked. I don't know what the fuck she's trying to say or interrupted. Why are you messaging me in the middle of a live, bro? You are rude. We need to speed at linebacker. I get that. So skip the most talented player in the draft for an average lineman who may be a depth piece. Get that? I get that. I get that. Example, Barkley wasted years in New York when they were not ready to win. That we're not the Giants. We are not the Giants. We are ready to win. We were ready to win last year. If they would have put the right flipping quarterback in there, we were ready to win last year. We had a we had a decent offensive line. Now, we had a bunch of issues. We had some injuries, but we still had a team to compete. We just had bad coaching. We have better coaching this year. We have way better coaching, 100 times better coaching than we had last year at, a bunch of positions. Pete Carroll has preached over and over and over again how you make the quarterback's life easier with a run game. What better way to make your quarterback's life better with a run game than to draft the best running back in the draft? That shit makes no sense. Membu Junkins, damn, I would be happy if those two guys, Arnie Henderson, Chip Kelly, make us happy. Got you. Man, he played in the Mountain West Conference. What happened to him when he played against Penn State? A real team got him shut down. Well, here's the thing on that, Raider Booster. That's easy. You know what happened to when he played a real team like Penn State? For one, he was Boise State. He played for Boise State. He was the team. He didn't have a quarterback. He didn't have a dominant wide receiver. He didn't have a dominant offensive line. He didn't have a killer defense. So when he went up against Penn State, they keyed in on Ashton Jeanty. They stacked the box. They made the quarterback beat him, which he couldn't do. So that's simple, bro. That's simple. When you come to the Raiders, you're going to have Geno Smith. You're going to have Brock Bowers. You're going to have Jacoby Myers. You're going to have Michael Mayer. You're going to have Trey Tucker. You're going to have whoever else we draft. You're going to have Mostert. You're going to have people that they can't just key in and say, all right, we're going to take away Ashton Jeanty and this team has shit. Wrong. They have a lot of weapons. So that's the difference for that. That's how I say that. A real team can shut him down. Yes, a real team can shut him down. But that real team is not going to be able to shut him down, Brock Bowers down, Jacoby Myers down, Trey Tucker down. That's not going to happen. It adds a dimension for the Raiders that you can't cover. You don't have enough guys on the field to cover the weapons we have. It's not going to be possible. Hey, Rebel, you shouldn't ignore the chat when you're supposed to be support. I'm not ignoring the chat. I'm slow. I'm going on rants on everything everybody says. Because I don't agree with nobody. Fucking. I mean, damn. No, for real, though. All right. So. OMG, this is killing me with him not seeing this still from Candy. I've seen the fuck. What did I miss? What did I miss? What Candy message did I miss? Please tell me. Where is it? Can you repost it? What the flip? I didn't spend the whole thing. I sent it again. Check it out later. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You're fucking crazy. All right. Not going to call someone the next Lincoln Kennedy, but we'll call Ashton Jeanty the next. Wait, but we'll call Jeanty the next Barry Sanders. Wait, you heard me call him the next Barry Sanders? I don't remember I ever said that. I can't stand when people put words in my mouth. I never said that. And if you're talking about me, I mean, if you're not talking about me, then I apologize. But I never said he was the next Barry Sanders. I never said he was the next anybody. I said he was the next Ashton Jeanty that has a chance to be mentioned with the names of a Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, Walter Payton, at the end of his career. Not now, not ever now. I said he has a chance if he's drafted to a right team in the first round to be mentioned with those names when his career's over. And I really, 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 really believe that his name is going to be mentioned up there with those dudes. Never called him Barry Sanders, bud. Quit being phony. Oh, so you was talking to Cowtown? Well, because I was like, dude, I never said that shit. What the fuck you talking about? Got you. I'm out later. Have a good day. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Walter Payton. What about Walter Payton? So yeah, well, my running back show for tomorrow became a running back show for today. So thanks for y'all fucking up my shit. I'm just kidding. Damn it. I don't know how long I've been on. I got no timer. I don't like this new setup. I gotta figure out how I get all my shit added to chat so I can see it. Wait, what if I do this? Hold up. Boom. Can y'all see the chat like that? I figured it out. Never mind. I can do that. I don't need to see myself. Fuck, I need to see myself for. Membu, DJ Glaze, JPJ, Parham, and Colton. I'll rock with that. I'll rock with that. I'll rock with that 100%. Well, see, here's the thing. You know, you could still get a Membu and an Ashton Genty. We do have 10 picks, right? We have players on this team that might not make this roster. I mean, that might make the roster, but they're not going to get the burn they want or expect. You know, that are possible trade candidates. So you could easily, very easily, I believe, in this draft, trade back to whoever wants to trade back with you, wherever that spot is, whether it be 11, 13, 12, 18, 15, it doesn't matter. Trade back. Trade back. Grab your running back if he's still there, or your lineman, whichever one. Whichever one you think is going to be there the most, which, come on, Genty's going off the board within the top 10. I don't see him going any farther than 10. If he does, then I might have to reevaluate my evaluations on players. But, I mean, nowhere farther than 12. That's crazy. He's not making it past that. But if he does, so be it. But you can get, you know, you can move back, you can take your running back, and then you can trade back up into the first rounds, you know, into the 20s, and with a second round pick, a third round pick, 3 6th round picks, you know, picks next year if they're in win now mode and they don't think they're going to need those picks as much next year as they do this year, you could throw one of those in. You can throw players in. You know, we have a lot of offensive linemen that might not be here. Munford, I mean, Parham, are they keeping these guys? Are they going to be future guys? 2 hours and 45 minutes. Appreciate you. Damn, that's that long? Fuck, I can get off here. Whoa, that one just changed dramatically. John B, what's good? What's good? All right, now I gotta go back to this because that just got totally tore up. Great all-time running back. Yes, Membu, Glaze, Parham, 25 minutes. I think we could intimidate Tims like this. Curious as who. I think. What is Conjuring to what move up so bad? What? Curious to who I think is encouraging to want to move up so bad. Oh, you want to know who I think is willing to trade up? Bro, that's easy. What do you mean? Like, there's a lot of people, a lot of people. There's teams like the Steelers that don't have their quarterback that could very well want to jump in to the top 10 if they think Sanders is their guy and he's going to be there, or Jackson Dart is their guy is going to be there. Again, there's teams like Cincinnati who need a running back very, very bad, and maybe they feel like they can afford to get rid of whatever picks and go get their franchise guy, at running back, since they just paid two receivers $400 million and they pay a quarterback a very, very hefty price. Would make sense for a team like the Cincinnati Bengals to waste draft picks to move up into the first round to get a guy like a Ashton Genty who's on a 4-year, 5th-year option that you don't have to pay $20 million to have, your playoff caliber, franchise caliber running back. There's a lot of positions. There's, maybe somebody wants to move up to take a Mason Graham if he's still there. Maybe one of these teams feel like Will Johnson is their corner and they really want to move up to the 6th pick if they don't feel, they don't know that the Raiders might not take them or not. There's a lot of scenarios. I guarantee you there's a lot of teams that want that 6th pick. There's definitely 6 guys in this draft worth taking, and there's probably 10 that I could think of worth moving up for. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say, man. You questioning my authority? um, as to who you, damn phone messed up the text. I know, and then you make it look like I can't read, and then make fun of my reading. Fucking Cowtown. Why y'all deleting messages? What the fuck, bro? John B says Dallas. We could trade back with Dallas. We could trade with Miami, like he said. I could see the 49ers, with the moves they made of getting rid of their receivers, having troubles with the one they have in Brandon Ayuk. Maybe the 49ers move up and take a T-Mac, bro. Like, there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that can move up. Mumford for Def Pizza is good. I like Mumford. And, he had a solid year when he started. He did damn good on the left side. He did damn good on the right side. Our run game, our run blocking was way better with Mumford in there. He had some injuries he dealt with, but that is a massive mammoth of a man, bro. And, if he could get back to just to where he was 2 years ago, or, upgrade from that at that right side, and we can move DJ Glaze over to a guard position, bro, our offensive line would be set and nasty. Nasty, nasty. Well, like I said, goals. I didn't know that. How do I do polls? At the top of the messages, show all messages, fan funding, super chat messages. Yeah, Pittsburgh could, I've heard a lot of shit about Pittsburgh really loves Dart. Now, I don't think they love him enough to trade up and take him unless they feel like somebody's going to jack their guy. That they, if that's their guy, their number one guy on their board, they're going to do whatever they can to get that dude. We never thought the Houston Texans were going to trade up back into the first round to the 3rd or 4th pick or whatever they traded to. Nobody thought in a million years the Atlanta Falcons were going to jump in front of the Raiders and take Michael Penix last year, but that happened. I don't know why people are acting like this number 6 pick is not value, bro. It's valuable as hell, especially for a team, that is one piece away from having that franchise guy that is sitting at 20, 25, 30 and feels like, damn, if we could only get this kid right here, this could change our whole franchise around and, you know, put us where we want to be and get us over the hump. There's a bunch of teams that are right there at that, you know, that be willing to move up to the sixth spot to get their corner or their defensive tackle or their running back or wide receiver or offensive lineman, quarterback. I mean, there's a million, bro. There's a million. But I appreciate everybody pulling up. I appreciate the love, the $5 holler. Shout out to my guy. Who was it? New England Booster. I appreciate everybody who likes, subscribe. If you're not already, and you haven't already, man, hit that like button. Helps get in the algorithm. Shows love to the channel. If you're not a member to the channel, would like to become a member to the channel, I forgot to post the link again. So click on my name. You know how I do. And again, tomorrow, we're going to break down all the running back shit, which most of it ended up tonight. But I gave my reasons why you don't draft a Shedeur in the 6th round. And tomorrow, I'm going to give my reasons why I think drafting a running back in the 1st round is not as bad as people think. And shout out to Cowtown Luda for standing your ground on your boy Genty, bro, because I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Like, I know we can go a million different ways, but to me, having that franchise guy that could be that franchise guy for the next, 8 to 10 years, which we haven't had since a Marcus Allen, like the longest running back we've had, I think, since Marcus Allen was Josh Jacobs. Like, nobody makes it past, their rookie year or getting the rookie options. We let everybody go because they ain't shit. So I believe this dude could be that dude, and I'm willing to take a chance. But we'll break it all down tomorrow, as always. Oh, I guess it is showing up on my shit like that. Well, fuck, that ain't helping. Maybe that way. Fuck, I don't know, bro. If I come over here, put this shit over here. Ah, son of a bitch. I don't know, damn it. I'll figure this shit out eventually. One of these days, I will get it together. If not, I'll just start going live on the damn phone. Fuck it. Like, I ain't messed up about it. But again, I appreciate y'all. Much love, as always. Raiders just win now, baby. Peace. Oh shit, no, don't do that.